Hallelujah! Glory be the folks on me.
It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Huh, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need. Slap Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
For what he has, he says that the only way for what he has, he says that the only way that for what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left the light. I just left the light in.
Hey, where the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with her man. No, her mind is fucked. God damn it.
Hey, where the white women at?
I'm trying to told you. 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 I'm trying to told you.
Well, gotta get a piece of mind.
Joe Visa. He looked down, seen her feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the ass.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am. It's cool enough just being cool. It's cool enough just being cool. It's cool enough just being cool. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
Plus, I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
I think very deeply. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deep. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deep.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
Dance with me. Oh, yeah. Dance with me.
Oh, that's his dad.
You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God. Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Don't know me, want it. I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be out of line.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Come with baggage, just not asking Louis what's on.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right here.
Your lines,
I think we OD.
your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can
I
get
think we OD.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. And
Come my word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard. Come my word, that's when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah. Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the deuce. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm coming. I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the baby. I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the baby. I hit.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance. Let's work it out. Nigga.
Slapping folks is satisfying. She don't like me, but I didn't know. Guess it was underlying.
I hit the lean and buck, lean.
to the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe.
Start with this right here. It says thousands of African Americans were victims of lynchings and racial violence in the United States between 1877 and 1950, including era was a form of racial terrorism intended to intimidate black people and enforce racial hierarchy and segregation. After the Civil War, violent resistance to equal rights for formerly enslaved people led to violent abuse of decades of political and social and economical exploration. Racial terror lynching became the most public and notorious form of terror and subordination. White mobs were usually permitted to engage in racial terror, brutal violence with impunity. Many black people were pulled out of jails or given over to the mobs by law enforcement officials who were legally required to protect them. Terror lynchings often included burning, mutilation, sometimes in front of crowds numbered in the thousands. Those lawless acts of violence targeted African Americans accused of misconduct or crimes, all whom were killed without trial, many under false accusations. The name of many lynching victims were not recorded or remain unknown, but over 4,400 racial terror lynchings have been documented across the country, memorializing these victims, racial injustice, and advancing the struggle for equity and elimination of okay, and we're trying to figure out here which pole, because perhaps this pole is the pole in the picture, but it looks too new. Now, what did the one you saw, what did that look like? But this is basically the corner, and the whole story goes, they tore down the jail. They physically tore down the jail, so that's what we're trying to figure out, where the jail was that they physically tore down. Because they tore down the jail brick by brick in one of the walls. So we can't really tell which pole is that period. Now she thinks it was over here, but it's possibly might be the pole, because the picture, they cut them down from the picture, and that's why they're all basically over here.
All right, I'm sorry I had to switch up on you, but I wasn't prepared fully. But yes, down here in Duluth, they took the pole. Now, my wife had went down there years before, and she saw where the pole was still in the ground. The pole was here. And so the picture in the beginning, the thumbnail for this, but this is where they were murdered. And I know, you know, what the English like to do
is they like to use other words instead of really they were murdered. Because lynching sounds softer than murdered. I mean, if you really think of the psyche in American thinking. So these men were brutally murdered by a mob for doing absolutely nothing. All on emotionalism. Now, at the time, there's a beautiful book I used to have, and I probably can get it again, wrote by somebody down here, but wrote many years ago. He wrote it in the 60s or 70s. And I mean, it's a very well researched. And I mean, what they did is they tore the jail down, which is about 2 blocks up. They literally tore the jail down, knocking down walls, and I mean brick walls, to get to the men. It took them hours. So, but I just needed that distraction to get me into let's groove tonight. Share the spice of life. You just move yourself and glide like a 747. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, baby. And when I turn it on, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. And I am your super funky host, Flint Pontiac, formerly known as Big Pontiac, formerly known as 8 Wind, formerly known as Time Lord, formerly known as the Hero Twin. Because whenever the energy comes, that's when the names come, is when the energy comes. But I'm Dad, son. My mom still calls me by my nickname, which is Toby. My nickname was Toby, which turned as a man, turned into Tobe. But, you know, we have kind of flipped the script because these are the only ones we can get into bottles. But this is, I must say, they don't really call this caramel, but it's more caramel malts. And so Conway, still by Great Lakes, has become the crowd favorite. So again, pop them if you got them. I believe this beer was made in Grand Rapids. I keep forgetting. Be looking on the bottle and shit. You know, I don't think it's on the bottle where they are located. Yeah, not really. Maybe on the container, but pop them if you got them. And I'm already pretty hyped up on the Mega Blend 1 ton. Total 1,500 milligrams. It's basically 100 milligrams per. And this has D9 THC, D9 THCP, D8 Delta 8 THC. Now I was going to give you a special show on my big bong. But fuck, right now I'm high enough. You know, when Sly says, can they take you higher? I'm high enough. So maybe you'll get a treat. I had to put all the ice in it. So it holds ice and liquid. So it cools it down quite a bit. But as you see, this is a whole hard thing to do. I might keep it on this table over here or something. You know, it's just a lot. So, I think I can reach everything. I'll put that over here. So if the buzz starts to wane, then I'll grab it. And I clean the shit out of this. Cleaned most of that sticky stuff off the bottom. The stuff I got, this is ceramic, so it cleaned the shit out of it. So I must say, smoke them if you want them. That's what I must say. So how are all the party people tonight? You know, I told you I wasn't going to come on, but you know what I did? I said, Self. And Self said, what? Don't you feel like talking to the people before the tournament comes on? I said, yes. I feel like talking to the people. I'm feeling sanctified. I'm feeling sanctified tonight, y'all. So cheers, toast. As George Clinton says, a toast to the booty. Bottoms up. And another reason I had to go downstairs too is, you know, the acid blondie. And I know some of you have suggested of getting me a whole box. Don't give me a whole box, please. It's a nice thought, but please don't. I would probably eat 2 of these motherfuckers a day. And you know what I can't find up here that I got in Michigan and North Carolina? I used to be able to find, what was it? Like whiskey dipped. Like you could get, what is it called? Trying to think. Jack Daniels. You could get Jack Daniels dipped cigars where they like put them cigars in the barrels and shit. And that shit tastes good. That's kind of where I got from, chewing on them was more from that. Or like you could get one with cognac where the cigar tastes like cognac. And I haven't really found that up here. And this is the closest I found where it make the tobacco sweet. And that's why people like smoking cigarettes, because it tastes minty. It's minty. But sometimes when I eat chocolate, I get that shit all over this. So, oh, here we go. Paper don't taste good. Sometimes these little tips be having, just as much sweet as the tobacco itself. It's so weird, and I think I've told this. What's so weird, since I've started chewing these cigars for the last maybe 2 years now. I mean, I'm kind of off and on, but really more 2 years now. I get this vision all the time. I really get this crazy vision. I get this crazy vision somewhere from the 20s or 30s, and it's like the same kind of scene all the time. It's like and it's like a multiple scenes. It's like my best friend, every time we're out, he's like, man, why do you always suck on the cigars and why don't you chew them? It's like this dude is always worried about me sucking on the cigars. And it's just the funniest thing. Cause it's like we're at a bar like Harlem Nights and shit, and we sitting there with girls, and he would get on me all the time, like, why are you sucking on the cigar, man? So I don't know where that comes from. All right. Well, we are about to welcome everybody into the Galactic Patio. And you know how we invite you into the Galactic Patio? We sing. Would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmics. And there's only one rule. Don't touch my truck. Leave that F-150 alone. It powers the whole place. But if you do... Thank you, Woodstock. Thank you, Sly. Sly Stone, thank you. I want to thank you for letting me CWE what's happening tonight. And I know. You got to have vision. You glad they won. There you go. Thank you for joining. Baseball. Oh, yeah. The Twins opened. Yeah. No. I think they still played. I think it ain't raining or snowing up here. I think they played today. I know they was interviewed earlier. I saw some of the interviews. I'm not going to see baseball games because of Bally. Yeah, which is another thing. But, yeah. You got to have vision. Jamar, 32-24. And I know. You got to have vision. Joey, what's happening? You got to have vision. Ernestine, thank you for joining. Nice to see you. You got to have vision. And my man, Dr. Sinister. And you never have to worry about him controlling his.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Oh, PJ Allen, what's happening? And he's another brother, because he is my main man from the Philippines to Saipan. And I know he controls his.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Well, that's, oh, it's more? Whoa. Johnny Oggs, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
All right. Oh, the one. I missed the one. Aggie Pride.
Got to have vision.
Because, like Michigan says, go blue, we say Aggie Pride. We see each other and you see that gear somewhere and you just Aggie Proud to them. And they know. They know. Them Aggies is around. It's an automatic connection. My ex-teammates have been my friends for 40 plus years. Some of the best friends I've had in life, 40 plus years. So, all Aggies, Man, I'm gonna turn this fan off. It's kind of cold. So think about it right now. It's baseball season. It's basketball season. Hockey is still going on. All the major sports except football. As a matter of fact, was it UFL? UFL, isn't that how they kicked the USFL out of it again? So, I'm about to say I didn't know they didn't have Odyssey to keep the same poll. Audacity. Yeah, hey PJ, actually they did. They kept that poll for years. I mean, I think I went through on Pinterest and found it. But they just took it down. I guess the building behind it caught on fire but it's a stain on that city. It's a stain on the city because for it to not to be any clear, like everywhere it's clear heads. But like, what would make heads so unclear that they thought, number one, there was no, like the way the city in general is, they had some people that had some skills that worked up there. So there was a small melanated community that worked up there, and still, Indians that was going back and forth from Wisconsin and coming over, to Minnesota still. So it was melanated people up there. But again, everybody was pretty much segregated. Whatever business they did with it each other. When the circus came in town, this was the difference. This was, just some strangers. And so the story makes no sense. It's like the story comes out at maybe, and the girl cries. And what would lead to such mass violence without any facts other than they were just some melanated people? Now, all the other folks of the world can say what you want. And them peoples can't wait to tell you their stories. But listen, this story makes, this is like a story that it's hard to believe what hysteria of murder really took over. Because it's overkill. It's totally overkill. And that's, like when we get into the Emmett Till story, that's the problem we have with it. When we look at that body thing, that seems like some artificial. That seems like some 1950s TV stuff. The way the face and everything, the head is supposed to be, that doesn't look real. I mean, it looks very unnatural. Now, granted, we understand what they supposedly had to work with, but it's just too much. And I mean, the way the story went over the years, they were saying that this teenager got castrated. I think, I heard the story that he had got killed as a young boy, but then I'd heard somebody else was like, yeah, they castrated him. I'm like, what? Again, spreading terror. So for it to happen to a place where, you know, where there was no mass uprising. I mean, when we get into what really got Tulsa, one thing that can't be denied is the Jewish faith newspaper people of the nearby town. If you look at the way the Historia was raised, it was raised just as much by the Jewish faith newspaper as word to mouth. And this caused hysteria. Just one of their boys was mistreated. They went and got him and brought him back. That's basically what happened. And then they got attacked by, 3 or 4 other towns. Because that's what happens. It puts them in a frenzy. Any kind of attempt of support. Now we know that there are other places where the brothers outgunned them. Like they just want to tell you about deacons of defense, but it's a bunch of other stories where they were outgunned. Where they, it's like in South Carolina, they got beat with Winchesters because what they was given was, maybe percussion at the most, or the old World War II rifles that shoot slow. The Winchester, boom, boom, Henry. But there's stories where you find in Mississippi where the brothers had the Winchesters. I mean, like when you look at like how Custer got killed, they got outgunned. They shot percussions. What Custer and them had was older rifles. Their technology was older than what the natives had bought. And even that, even looking at that, it almost makes you think they sacrificed Custer. And it gave them a reason to attack them in greater numbers, And as I've said before, the mistake that all of them made, that they should have kept fighting with that large group all the way to St. Louis. Then they would have had pretty clear supply lines behind them, somewhat. And that's where, the real stand should have made, because they could have defeated both the army groups. Like if they would have stayed as one big army, they could have, now they didn't have Gatling guns, but superior numbers. And if they would have surprised any of that group, just as Custer was surprised, and that group wouldn't have fully been able to, get everything in, they could have been defeated too. And they would have ended up with those Gatling guns. So, yeah. It's a sport extravaganza. It really is. It really is. It is. Yeah. So I just wanted to come on. I felt sanctified. I was kind of waiting all day, and I had nervous energy, and I didn't really watch the game. I was more reading than watching the game. So just wanted to, connect with everybody. It's funny. We got 12. We got almost 12 inches of snow the other night. Up in Duluth, where I was just showing, they got like 25 inches of snow up there when they didn't have hardly any. They got like 25 inches of snow. So we got it, but it's like almost all, I mean, it's covered, which is great. It's going to be cold the next couple of days, which is going to hold the moisture here. So the warm temperature because right now the ground ain't frozen. So I don't even know if frozen temperatures all week is going to freeze the ground. But, hate winter or not, it's still, we need the precipitation. The land needs the precipitation. So, and yesterday, driving was quite a challenge. It really was. But I had the Acura. And my car, the only reason I didn't drive my car because I ain't having the gas. So I was kind of lazy. I was like, shit, it's out here raining and shit, and this car full and that one ain't. So, but it does fine. I mean, it does fine with the 4-wheel drive. But what was interesting is, because I came out and I was like, shit, because I knew I wasn't going to take the highway. I was like, yeah, I am not going to take a chance of missing these appointments because the highway gets stopped. If on the way I go and something backs up, there's always ways you can turn. You're on the highway, you stuck. So I'm like, nah, I'm going to go through the towns. So I shoot through the towns and I'm just about to take a back way. Some told me just keep going because the light turned green. I'm like, I ain't turning here because I had got over like I was going to turn. I put my blinker on, turn back, and I just went straight. And I'm glad I did because the back roads were not shoveled. The back roads were. Now, when I hit 42, going, that would be going, what is 42? 2 is even, so east-west, right? Yeah, north, east, west, 42. Yeah, that'd be east, west. So I'm going west, southwest. I'm going kind of southwest. No, 42 might be north. No, it's not. It's not. I'm going west, southwest actually. And like they're only like one good thing I can say is the roads have been perfectly treated. I mean, they have really treated these roads where it wasn't really icing bad, but it had been so much snow and moisture where it kind of iced up a little bit. And so I like just going to pick, because I had to pick up my daughter from school. So just going there, it was just a challenge. And so I thought I was going to be late, and I really wasn't. I was like, maybe I said to pick her up at 1:30. I got there like 1:33. So she was in the office. So the time was perfectly. And where we went to the chiropractor, it wasn't that far. But as I got, closer and closer to Prior Lake, wasn't as snow covered, I thought. So then I hit what's called Dakota. Well, Texas turns into Dakota. Then I hit Dakota and by the high school. And it was like, even though it had been treated, it hadn't been plowed. So it was like, it was funny because it was like a group of cars kind of stayed together. So as we turned, because I was in the fire turn lane. So we all turned, because up here it's double turns. So I let one car get in front of me and I got over. I was like, shit, it looked better over there. I get over. And when I get over, all I saw in front of me was people just getting over because it was like it was better, it was still snowy, but it was better. So it wasn't slow, but what's funny, so, picking her up, it was snowing and stuff. And, I wear my fur. I got the winter fur on there. I go up in there with the fur, the cane go on. And my daughter, she didn't really, trip because, I've been there just plush. I walk into school just plush. And she was like, where'd you get that coat? I'm like, hey, it's one of many. And so go to the chiropractor. I hang my coat up in the chiropractor. and I'm going to tell you, I was telling you last week, I hurt my back. I picked something up. When he cracked my back, oh my goodness. When he cracked my back, it was like plop, 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 plop. I had really done something to my lower back. So he told me, he's like, where you hurt at? And so and he has a roller thing. I'm gonna tell you, I gotta look for that. We get a little bigger place. I'm gonna get one of them rollers so you can sit there and just, oh my goodness, that is so good to stretch your back. It is so good. So I'm gonna get one of them. And he adjusted my daughter. She was having some issue. He finally popped my neck the other way, and usually he can't pop my neck once that way. So it's kind of cool. And I'll say this for anybody, like one thing. When you get a chiropractor, especially a woman, make sure she's strong enough. Because like his other chiropractor, she's not strong. To do women and stuff, she could probably do them, but to do bigger dudes, she ain't really strong enough. My chiropractor, his mug is kind of like, because he told me like because he met my daughter, my wife goes to him. And he was like, well, have her come the week after. I'm going to go the week after too, because my back is better though. And so he's like, yeah, because they're going on vacation. Because, up here, spring break is coming. So if it ain't here for your people. I watched the Clipper and the Sixers. I watched that game too. Really from, what was it? Kelly Obrick, when they had to play at half court from that. So 2 plays before that, they had thrown the ball and gave him a basket. It was sloppy play. It was very sloppy play think about it. Before Olbrich, before that, they was a sloppy turnover and they fouled. Remember that? Before the Olbrich play at half court, when he threw it away again. Remember the play before that, they threw it away. The play, okay, and so on offense, they had missed. So they had missed. Clippers come down. They stopped the Clippers. Then they threw the ball away and gave the Clippers a short shot, and I think they got fouled. And then it was the Kelly Oubre play at half court where they was trying to see who touched it. It was like he threw it away on purpose again, So, I mean, they kind of threw that away. I was like, that was some very suspect play. But I'll tell you this: did y'all see Harding's shoes? Man. Those was tough. Harding's shoes was tough. Definitely tough. I was like, I think that's I couldn't, that appeared to be like a white and maybe a little yellow in the back, but yeah, that was tough. I like the Hardings. I like the Hardings. So yeah, I watched that game too. Getting another Acura totaled our TL. Oh, okay. We have the smaller one, but we got the V8 in it, and it's got all-wheel drive. So we've got the RD, whatever, RDX maybe. I've been, I kind of want a 4Runner. That's kind of what I was thinking. But I saw that the new Tundras, I think. So the 4Runners had a back window that did like, the OJ Broncos was cool. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, but the OJ Broncos, I had one of them, and the roof, you could unscrew the roof and take the roof off, and it was a bar. I'm pretty sure I had a bar in the middle that stabilized. But you could take the roof off and that back window came down. It literally rolled down. So now I think that now the 4Runner, that back window rolls down. It's one of the few vehicles to do that. And I think I saw a new Tundra or whatever. One of their pickups do it too. Because I live, again, like I said, I live minutes from several dealers. It's a miracle mile here of dealers. So I be seeing the rides. I ain't impressed with Hyundai, Kia. I ain't impressed with none of them. My mother-in-law has, what is hers? And I've rode in hers, and it's like, yeah. Because we rented one. A couple years ago, we rented one. We rented, I forget, the Sorrento or the bigger one. It was like, I was just looking at the parts. This was back in 2015. We rented a brand new one. So Sorrento or whatever's bigger. And I was just going through again, my background is quality. Michigan supplier parts quality is my background. So I'm looking at these parts and I was like feeling on the dash. Now I know, styrofoam is used or it's not actually styrofoam. It's a little different, thicker foam that's used, but this felt more like styrofoam. So I know what American cars, and I'm like, look at this. And I was like, you could kind of push. It was like that felt more like styrofoam than what you would find in an American car. The foam is a little thicker than what I was like, and I was looking at because I and like we produce doors, so I'm looking at the door and the components, and I'm like, wow, and it was just like cheaper than cheap. It was just like, so and even her mom, what does her mom have? I'd have to ask her, but she has one of the 4-door ones. It's like a 19, I think, and still same. I'm seeing the same issues. Even I see what they're trying to do, but looking through the parts, I see where they cut corners. So I don't know. We got the small SUV, but these Harding shoes. Yeah, the Harding shoes was definitely dope. Yeah, definitely. They were nice. I mean, they were really tough. I was like, whoa. And my TV did colors, and I was like, man, what are those? And I never got to see a close-up shot how they looked. Oh, and we're talking about shoes. That's a good interlude. It only take a second. You know me. Oh. So they came. I was able to get a pair. These. The bigger size, like 13s always sell out. It seemed like most niggas in America wear 13s. Then Jesus just the fuck are they called? Air Jordan 9 Retros. I know everybody showed these, but these is mine. The box is cool. Now, what I was disappointed in the Jordan 37s, they gave you that manufactured. Like, look, I don't buy tennis shoes to save the world. Probably is the opposite. So don't give me a funky box when you got the possibility to give me this. You dig? So, and, I was just really thinking of the history. This is one shoe that was out that I never got these. I never played in these. I was thinking, looking at the year they came out, I was either wearing Iversons or the Shaqs, and they weren't better. These weren't better. I tried these on, and I think it was the Iversons. So I never got these. I did get because these are the what? 9s. I did get the 10s. I got the 10s. I think that when they came, the first year they came out with the 10s, wasn't it the Carolina Blue ones? right? The Carolina Blue Tins. So I had them. I had the socks and everything. That guy even had the sweatbands. But anyway, it came with the black paper. I think that's what it originally came in. And by now they all over. And what's funny is, if you look at this black paper, it's almost like suit paper, you know? They give you the little slip to put your suit in and shit, and it's kind of a little... So that's what I feel. And, you know, this is old school, heavy sneaker, you know? Old school, heavy, supported sneaker. That's what I'll say. I mean, it's very... It's solid. You can see things from the older shoes, like the two when they started silhouetting the way they silhouette here. But yeah. Then you've got, and to me, like I mentioned, I didn't get this one. I'm pretty sure I was wearing Iverson's twos. I think one of the Iverson twos, I think. Why I didn't get these? Yeah. Or maybe even the Shacks, and they had the Hexalite. They were lighter. They were lighter than this. So, this was now comparatively in weight. This is how the Barclays is kind of, this weight, but it has the theme, the booty. So, I have fun with it, y'all. I have fun with it. And the next is them blue ones. They coming out in I think it's May, the 4s, and I'm not really a fan of those, but just because of dude said they're coming out with 1 million of those 4 industrial blues. Yeah, it'd be probably pretty easy to get them. To stay with the theme of the light blue. So I'm a shoe junkie. I thought the Fear as well. That's the shoe I wore my sophomore year in an olive and black colorway. I remember that colorway. Yeah, I remember that colorway. That's why I was hell yeah, mine are en route. Okay, you just ordered just ordered those 4s. Okay. I'm getting the military 4s early, I think. Yeah, you might be. But he said it's 1 million pairs, so maybe you are getting them earlier. I should send you some bread. Get me a pair earlier. But it don't matter to me. My son's moving in here next week, so we're got to figure out. I got all these tables and stuff are coming out to try to let him have more space. So I'm relocating out for as long as it takes him to get his thing done. So I'm probably gonna have to swap this system somewhere else. Probably gonna have to go in the other office temporarily, and so that's probably what's gonna happen. So, but bringing in more shoes, where to put them? I just, like I mentioned, my friend down there, and I know he got them by now because they said Monday, so I know he got them shoes by now. But I sent him that last pair of Donovan Mitchell's, and I think I only wore them 1 or 2 times. I was looking, I was like, wow, these look new, and so I only wore them 1 or 2 times. And I was gonna send him my Jordans, and I was just thinking, like, even the Jordan, whatever, Aura, whatever the fuck they're called. I was looking at them like, man, these motherfuckers is Jordans, and I'm looking online what they're worth. I'm like, man, these shoes are still worth like $100 or 80, $90. I'm like, okay, and the way they look, so I was like, yeah, I kind of got to keep them. But because they have value, and the Mitchells is worth maybe the ones I sent him about $40, maybe 50. If you put them online, maybe 50. Somebody just wants that colorway. But like the Donovan, I think it's 3s. What I loved is he had a lot of different colorways, but it's just the support ain't there. And it appears like the best shoe they make is the Hardaway. Now Ant shoe, dude said it was hard to get on. They're selling out though. Like it's hard to get Ant shoes unless you want to pay a little more. Ant's shoes are doing well, so those seem to be the best they're making. Because those shoes, again, the way when they had to put it on that base block that make them shoes, they're very similar. So, and you see when Ant give his shoes away, he take his, inserts. Oh, and I'm going to get my inserts tomorrow. Yeah, so, Yes, I'm gonna get them made to 13s because my other inserts, because they're bulky. Inserts are bulky. But I'm gonna take 2 or 3 pair of shoes in there. I'm gonna like, look, these got to fit all these. So help me out. And so I want to be able to, my pickleball shoes especially, to play, to use the insert and play pickleball. So that is a goal of mine. Oh shit. Oh, yeah, military blue. Yeah, military blue or industrial blue. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Mr. To you, thank you for joining. He said military blue. I think all the sneakerheads are showing industrial blue, but
You got to have vision.
you could be right. And I know a person that like said before, like it's funny, and this gets my point even across what I was gonna say. Like I was in line with a guy, and the guy was buying some Nike. So I love clothing, I love shopping, I love just the people and the interest in the people and just fashion in general. So I was sitting there, I'm always plotting like this, that, And so anyway, I had dude, I was like, oh, what'd you get? And he said, well, they kind of like the one I'm wearing. And he showed me, and he's like, but now this cat appeared to be in his late 50s. He wasn't old as me. He was younger, but he's like, yeah, I don't get Jordans. And I thought, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, that told me one thing is, you never hooped. You definitely never hooped. I mean, that's the first thing it told me. Because, if you hooped sometime in your life, especially younger than me, you was going to hoop in Jordans. Now, again, they didn't come into the 80s, but Nikes was there. So I'll say that. Nikes was there too. Nikes came before Jordan. So the Nikes was there. But it's interesting that not hating Mike, let me say that right. Not hating Mike. It's just people that won't get Jordans. It's just to them, the thing that made us excited, they don't get. Like they would never get. And like I tell you my story, the first time a dude showed me a pair, like my friend, and at the time I think, well, my feet kept growing. So I probably was wearing, I was probably close to a 13 even then. But when I moved to Michigan in 85, one of my friends had a pair. And I could have got a pair too. It was like, man, I just moved there. I had a bunch of money. And I was like, man, he showed me them. I was like, oh yeah, these don't look comfortable, bro. And what I ended up getting was the New Balance, the James Worthy. When I first moved there, I didn't get them Jordans like he had because I remember, I remember putting them on. I was like, yeah, these are horrible. They was like the Chucks to me. Those pairs was just as bad as what do they call them? The Weapon. And that's what I played in the Weapon my junior year. And I went back to a canvas shoe because it was better than them. It was better than the Weapons, and it didn't hurt my feet as much. And I went back to a canvas shoe. It had more compression, than that leather shoe did. But to get to my point, and I've said this many times, I have watched the evolution of shoes and fashion. It's like, me wearing Godfather hats and fedoras and Kangos. I mean, these are styles that's just not common anymore. It's just not common. Baseball hats have taken over. They try to, like what they try to say is, trucker hats, but it was baseball hats because the trucker hats was made off of baseball hats. And I've seriously, this is something, again, that I was raised around Godfather hats, Kangos, you just always wore a hat. And then, they made a cheaper hat where, the pros started wearing the mesh hats. That's where the trucker hats. It's like when Oakland A's was, I think, the first team to play in the mesh hats. So when you saw the pros wear the mesh hats, they switched. They switched hats. And those of you that are my age or even 10 years younger, you'll remember this too.
Not only did it switch hats for the pros, they started giving us them type of hats. No longer was you getting a fitted. Because up to that point, my little boy baseball, I think my first grade, maybe, well, second grade. Second grade, they bought me a uniform. But third grade, they gave us uniforms. You had to turn them back in, but fitted hats. Fitted hats. Like, yeah, fourth grade, fifth grade, we had them same kind of trucker hats. So they took away these kind of hats. They took away the fitted hats. And what I loved about those hats is the way you could break them down in the back and you kind of make them sit in the back. You know, I got that from one of my guys. I don't know, he gave me a hat for some reason. He owed me a hat. I don't know what it was, but he owed me a hat. He's like, here you go, Tobe. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I don't remember what it was. I told him I liked his hat. He's all, oh, I got one for you. Maybe that's what it was. I don't even remember. He's a big dude, too. He was one of our young linemen. This cat was probably 6'7", 300 pounds. I bought the Fear 3s as well. Oh, I'm getting the militaries, I think. Yeah, I'll let you know. Niggas be hating Mike too. Yeah. Now, see, that was my point. I was saying is this, and I don't know if it's like I started saying, you know, I don't know if it's hating. It's just a disinterest. Like truly, that was something he was disinterested in, and I even think maybe even the clothes. But he liked Nike. Do you understand? He liked Nike. So Nike wins no matter what, you know, Nike still wins, but it was just interesting that the people that feel like that. And so I think, like, first of all, you know, I pretty much got to wear a pretty much secure shoe, a good shoe all the time. I mean, I just do. And so I go through and wear these, you know, I've got the best shoe for my feet. Because if I'm got to be on my feet, I got to wear shoes for that, because I just, you know, that's something that over time has given me a lot of issues. So I've solved it. You know, I've solved it. I wear the best shoes all the time. Like my boots are the best boots. So if and that's why I got the Jordan winterized. You know, I have no problem saying that those two boots, my Jordan winterized boots, I think the one is they call that shit. It's the winterized six rings, which is not a real Jordan. It's a copy of another one. But man, that boot is warm, waterproof. I put that stuff on them, all the salt treatment and that shit, and it flicks it off, you know. And so I have no problem wearing them. And so again, you know, it's a personal thing for everybody. I'm gonna be a 90-year-old. My mom, you know, you see my son's 6'7". You know, he gonna walk in there in the old place. Hey, put them Jordans on his feet while you push him around. Yeah, put the goddamn Jordans on like I told you. I thought I told you. I love a good fitted hat, but them snapbacks go high. I don't get them a lot, but what I do get, now I think I've only got, now what I missed out on, and it's, you know, maybe I haven't done a hard search, but it's hard to get the red ones like this. And when they had them, they only had them like a half season. And, you know, I always use it because it's just like, I don't know, I should have just bought it. But so I've got to really do another search of finding the red one like this, because they haven't made it, but they've made it in a snapback. They haven't re-released it. And so you'd have to get, you know, old stock to get the red one like this. And so I've only got 2, maybe 3 of these hats. Well, this is like my other one like this is fitted. But I've got a couple hats that's like my Eagle hat. You know, again, what they did a disservice in 17. They put out the Black Nasty with the newest mascot, you know, which is, you know, cheating people. And I wear it every now and then, but you know, it's kind of cheating people. And so people was like, hey, what is this? You know, we paying $50 for this hat, and you already making it not worth nothing. So when they re-released the hat, it was a snapback.
of that same hat, and they just changed it here and put a couple more. And a lot of times with the snapbacks, you can get a lot more put on the side and stuff for free. So I just love hats in general. And I've said, this is the thing. It's Zosterism. Wearing hats is Zosterism. I mean, when they talk about a tinfoil cap, they're talking about making fun of Zosterism. And that's where it says you cover your crown all the time. They want to tell you they want to tell you so many ways. Okay, check this out. So like when they tell you, and maybe this is a little Brother Polite's work, but they want to tell you that, don't wear sunglasses. Don't wear sunglasses because, you're blocking some of these lights and rays. But on the other hand, they say, well, you got to put a chemical on your skin or these same lights and rays that the sunglasses blocks a lot from your eyes, you see? So it doesn't make a lot of sense. You're telling us one thing, but then here's another thing you're telling us. So the best thing is you have to do what you have to do for you, And that's alchemy. That's true alchemy for everybody. Like cooking is alchemy at its simplest form. I mean, that's at its simplest form. No, my boy would like everybody on the court but Mike. I said, damn, how you gonna hate on Mike? That's a good point. Do you go to Liz to embroider your hats? I've really thought about buying one of them, going in business with my friend, because that's what his son does. And I'm thinking about getting one. But yeah, when I would get them done, I've said before, our local mall, the lid's closed, which was kind of sad. So now my closest lids is really to the outlet. I'd have to go to the outlet to go to my closest lids. And I've been wanting to go up to the outlet in Alexandria to see, that lids, because it's like all the outlets have a little something different. And my daughter, I got to buy her a pair of running shoes. But I'm kind of glad that, the weather's the way it is, and it's going to be like that for another week or two. So, and I'll find, some for her to wear. So, oh man, I mean, timing of the world and the things is beautiful. It is really beautiful. Yeah, to manifest, and just by paying attention, it's like, wow, this is something I should jump on. Oh, but yeah, so like lids is cool. Yeah, I get to work at lids. Now there's another place, and let me tell you guys about one thing about business. Let me say this. Look around you. Look at them businesses the doors open every day and ain't no cars around. I mean, there's a place where all the rugs, there's a place called Cyrus. All they got is now imagine they got $1,000 rugs in there too. But most of them rugs in there is 5 to 10 to 15. These is rugs that the Sultans would have. I mean, really though, really. Like they've got this rug in outside of it, and this rug is like 30 grand. So how often do niggas buy 30 grand rugs, But yet this motherfucker place is open day after day. I pass these furniture stores all the time. And it makes you understand what's really going on. It's so much of a lie. Like they go after certain people for laundering money where it's obvious that everybody's doing it. Everybody got these businesses that's just fronts. Because if you look at the traffic, it makes no sense. And like I was saying before, one of my guys, he loses his business because of COVID, and a bunch of other people didn't. It was like he couldn't compete. He could not put a quick plan together to save him and his employees. And the way they was giving that bread back, it wasn't soon enough. As he's probably on the edge anyway as was coming up. And that was one of the worst things that happened to him. But it just doesn't seem like these places, let me tell you, it's a TJ Maxx near me, and it is always a line of 30 to 40 people. And this place is open from about 9, 10 in the morning till about 8
8, 9, 10 a night. I mean, this place, and you can never go in this store when there's not less than 30 people in line. Now, there's days that I've went in the store, and you know how the TJ Maxx is what is it, the Home Goods? TJ Maxx and Home Goods is all one store, and both stores only have one. Both stores only have one. Well, they got 10, 11 registers, maybe 14, 15. But I've never seen them have more than 10 people there at a time. Usually it's only like 3 to 5. But there's always so my point is some days I go in because I just get walking, just want to look and walk. And excuse me. And it's like nobody's in the store. It's like everybody who's in the store is in the goddamn line. I mean, how do you explain that? Like, how did everybody come at the same time and 30 people, the 30 people was able to, be in line. It just opened up, they grabbed their shit quick. Because when I was walking in there, it was fairly early, and I'm like, okay. But when I went in there, it was 30 plus. I was in line one time with them. It was like 60, 70 people in line. And it's just the weirdest. And I don't think it's gang stalking. That's what some people might say. It's gang stalking. I don't think it's necessarily that. But it's just some shit that is hard. Let me see. Did you get Liz? I dropped a couple of new joints. I know you would definitely like the Detroit Tigers joint. Stumbled across. Okay. Sultan's is wild. I'm telling you, man. Man, you can drive by there. I'll try to take a picture next time I go by there. And I'm telling you, the rug is, and there's 2 of them. It's like they got 2 giant rugs in the window. And it was funny. We went by there a couple weeks ago. We saw a van where the rugs could take take the rugs to the people. Okay, that's one. I caught myself. Yeah, about to say it again. No, so they had a van out there, and it was 3 or 4 other cars. So I was like, well, goddamn, Cyrus done sold some rugs. But if you look most of the time, it's like, so that makes the money I guess if you sell one $30,000 rug a month, I don't know. And then they wanted to say what? Somebody won $1 billion? I mean, that's a curse. That's not what you would want to steal from them. You win that much, they're going to tell you what to do. It's like a curse from them. That is a hook. That's not what you take from them. You take less from them. You just take enough for your manifestation. That's all. Your manifestation, you don't need $1 billion. You just manifest, and that's how you hit that stuff. Scratch offs, play the number, play the lottery. That's how you win that stuff, like that. Your aim is always something that's that's agreeable to you and your realm of what you can manifest. So you don't need all those other pipe dreams that they try to generate. If you do play, it's like, don't play that. Like, no, I don't want it all. Like, what can I do? How many numbers can I get where I get a couple? That's how you play that. So, and it takes less energy to trying to put it together. Because I heard one lady was saying, how hard it would be to put the magic together to win something like that. Yeah, first of all, what was that show called years ago where they had the AI and the AI was like the Snoop, but the AI was connected to the whole world. Remember that show? The Jesus dude was in it. And so when I was watching that show, I always thought that the lottery had to be connected some kind of way like that, where they can visually choose the winners and losers. And one thing, like my mother's boyfriend charted it, and he believed in the butterfly effect. But that's not really what I saw when I kind of fully charted it. What I saw was what they do is they let regions win. That's kind of like the way they do the lottery, that you look at the map of the country and you can see regionally where they would let people win. And if you really looked at like how much they win, they pretty much do it regionally. They move it across the country. That's what it seemed to me.
And it was like here, it's only certain places here people win, like bigger lotteries. I mean, never I've been here 18 years, never a big lottery winning where the people in the hood. Now, people in the hood hitting the scratch offs for so much and stuff like that, yes. But the big lotteries, never been people in the hood. It was always South Minneapolis, it seemed like. Or the south of the state, as it seemed like. I saw one place that, I mean, I couldn't believe how many winners they have because they get paid. And this place was paid. I'm looking at all these winners and how much they was winning. I'm like, this little store is where to play. So I played down there, and I don't think I won, but it was like, if you came here all the time, they got something going on down here. And that's what people, and that's why, people don't understand what the numbers runners used to be. I mean, the people that used to run the numbers was made just as enough money, or if not more money, than the dope people and so-called pimps. And it wasn't a very violent business. I mean, of course, the Dutch Schultz and Queenie, but for the most part, it wasn't a very violent business and very affordable. I mean, one time you could play the numbers for a penny, and later became pretty standard nickel dime. That's affordable for everybody. And I get in the story of I just found, it's funny. I get family history stories. So one of the relatives that the family ended up selling some of the farmland to, he always read. He was in Chicago, and I wish I could remember Smitty's name, but he ran a barbershop, or excuse me, not a barbershop, but he ran a rib place in Chicago for years. His name was Smitty. I had to ask my mom what the name of the place was again. That place probably didn't close down until, he died probably in the mid-70s. So I bet a remnant of something. But he was a numbers runner. I didn't even know that. This is how he did his business. He ran numbers. And I'll tell you a movie that should be made about a numbers runner is Ed Martin. Ed Martin, his story should really be told. Jalen Rose, you want some real money? I'll write the screenplay of Ed Martin's story. I think he worked at Chrysler City. Imagine this. It's like the dope dealer is working at the best paying place where you live. So not only is he killing it on the streets with the numbers and the profit from the wins and losses, he is also working at a guaranteed. This man is killing it. Full union job. His schedule, because once you get in a union, you work so long, you got a bunch of vacation, And this man put in the work of helping the youth in Detroit. That's what he did. He helped the youth of Detroit while he was the numbers guy. But he took a real interest in the youth of Detroit to make sure when he took these boys to these tournaments, they had to stay overnight. He made sure they ate. He paid their hotels and let them play ball. He fed them. When they played on their junior high teams, he made sure all the dudes that was in his program had shoes. Jalen Rose will tell you the same thing. And so, for him to be vilified, and that was the beef between Jalen and Chris. And because, let's even take it further of what they said and how they went after them. All they did. See, this is what you have to understand. Ed Martin had been sponsoring children. He had been at the AAU level. His guys was going into college, so he's already there. So all of a sudden, his favorite players all play at Michigan. All of a sudden, he becomes a booster. Do you understand me? He becomes a booster. Because this is his guys. Now, let's get into John Wooden. John Wooden, I don't know if the dude was from Hollywood or a real estate dude. John Wooden had one. John Wooden had a rich dude that was breaking off bread to them UCLA players. So all of a sudden, Ed Martin is a booster. Perry Watson gets in there, becomes assistant coach. Jalen's high school coach. So his guys and he's doing nothing but being a booster.
And then they kind of got sloppy. Taylor, not Trailer, but Taylor, I think Trailer was with him. They got in a car accident. And remember, what's his name that played Cleves was in the car with him. And remember, Cleves was thinking about going to Michigan until they got in that car accident. And then they started looking at could this young boy and his mama get the car, and they went after him. Something that was a common practice everywhere. And you have to think, this seems to be very racially motivated. Because if you don't think money has been passed, like Michigan State was so well known in the 60s and 70s, you got a big game, you might get a car. I can just remember dudes, sitting, he's like, oh shit, that nigga go get he was saying the touchdown, he said the price. He's like, oh, or he's getting something. I remember he said, I don't want to exaggerate, say it was a car, but it was like he was getting something for getting that touchdown. He knew how much he was going to get. He's like, oh shit, he about to get this. It's like, really? I mean, there's a picture out there of Moses Malone, the University of Maryland gave him 2 LTDs. 2 of them. There's a picture of him with his hands on both of them. And I'm going to tell you, the least imaginative and the least given a power by any parent, Reggie Bush's, you got to really applaud him because remember, he got a house. Remember, Reggie Bush got a house. You got to feel sorry for Marcus Dupree because, again, he got hurt, probably went to a school. The type of football he went to was going to be pounding. And I think his skill was like a little better if not to take the pounding. And then, once he got some pounding and felt he couldn't trust people. And it's funny how like negatives really attach because all to get him to go to University of Oklahoma, all it took was them to buy his mama a double wide. Now think of the mentality. This is a guy basically, because when he's on the cover, that's the only one I'm in. I'm in that one at A&T. So if you ever get a copy of Marcus Dupree on the cover of Street and Smith, I'm in that one. That one, they mentioned me because I had the most catches of returning receivers. And I remember dude was reading shit like, nigga, you ain't even playing next year. Like, man, I'll beat your ass up in here. But that's the only time I made it was a year after where I didn't play. Somebody slid me in there. I don't know how that happened. But, his career was basically that, just bad decisions, and not true knowing, knowing who holds the power, I'll say too, So, Mr. Martin and the king of the double dipping. I remember Street and Smith. Yeah, the Street and Smith. Dare anybody to say I'm a lie. Find the Street and Smith with Marcus Dupree, and maybe I can buy one. If I can buy one on the internet, I'll get it. And I'm in that motherfucker. You look up the MEAC conference, when they go to A&T, they mention my name. And because I'm the returner receivers. Because technically the next year could have been my junior year too. I could have played an extra year. Because I didn't play, I wasn't even, because I'm going to tell you how dirty they did people. And I watched them do my son the same way. And junior college is like, back then, if you play a game, I think, it took your whole year away. And that's what the coach was doing. He was trying to lock people into 2 years by letting them play in the first game, then benching the rest of the year. And if you leave, you done fucked up a year. So they changed that shit. You can't do that to them anymore. Forcing people to stay 2 years. So yeah, that's just, but again, with him, and I mean, what's beautiful, and this is what's beautiful, because his story don't end there. Like you look at his story, and I say, some bad luck and stuff, yeah, but you know what's beautiful about it all? And I've told us the story. Like when I caught the game-winning touchdown against Johnson C. Smith. It was like motherfuckers just. It's remarkable the way people react when you do something like that. I mean, literally, niggas just followed me to the lunchroom, and it was dinner time, and I mean, literally, just niggas that normally just everybody walk with me to get lunch or dinner. It was after, And it was like, wow. And like as more I walked through campus, the more niggas just joined. And I'm like, really? Like, these niggas has never been like this. And so everybody's just following me into the calf. So I go in there and eat. And it was like everything, you know, after the game, we was going to get it on. But my point is your friends is always your friends. And it's like literally everybody that sat at the table with me, like was with me. And I mean, it's like some of them tables, it's probably 20, 30 people, maybe 20 people. All them niggas was with me at that moment. Where I said all these niggas sat. So it was like all the niggas that was with us sat all together. I ate my shit, got up. All these niggas ate and got up with me. And so I'm about to walk out. Now I'm telling you, so many niggas sitting with me that my guys is sitting up front. They ain't even sitting with me. Like even maybe Squirrel might have been sitting with me because Yoke wasn't there. So Squirrel might have been the only nigga that's laughing sitting with me too. But House was like had to sit up in front. So we was all walking. We was walking away. And the nigga like watched all of us move. And I looked at the nigga and I'm like looking at this nigga like, this nigga see we all moving. Like we all get up to move. So it's a group of niggas that is walking out of this motherfucker. And I'm looking at him. And he's looking at me and shit. And like, you know, I'm looking, I'm walking, I'm looking. And I'm like, I finally got to stop like, God damn, man. You ain't coming with us? What? He's like, fuck this food. He pushed his shit up and he came with it. And my point is, the energy that I was pushing out that time, I wanted him to feel it. Because that's why everybody was with me. Because that shit is like a supernova of energy. And everybody wants to feel what the fuck that shit is like. You see? So I wanted him to feel that too. Because this nigga's walking around with me every day. I mean, Squirrel was right there with me because it's just Squirrel's like, shit. Like, our lockers is right next to each other. So me and him get dressed together, you know. They come and interview me and shit. The coach, what was so funny, the motherfucking coach come and shake my hand. He like walked and looked around because this nigga didn't even know where I sat. Do you understand? This nigga comes and looks around. He didn't even know where I sat in the locker room. You know, like, coach, right, he's right there. No, this nigga didn't even know where I sat. He had to find me. This motherfucker comes and shakes my hand. Because that energy is like nothing else. You know. But my point is you have to be humble. And, you know, share that energy with people. Johnson C. Smith was us. Oh, okay. And, you know, I tell the story about Mr. Neal. You know, I tell that story all the time. I mean, one of the sweetest brothers I've ever met. Now, I've never heard any crazy stories about him. Yeah, Mr. Neal, you know, Mr. Neal grew up in Greensboro. And A&T either cut him, I'm not sure, but I think he started A&T, but he ended up at Smith. And he became, I think back then they were, MIA, or NIA, or what was it? What was it called? But they was part of that league, and he played well. And that led to he was really one of the most people. Like I don't see how you don't. Like of all time great ball handlers, I don't see how you don't mention Mr. Neal. I don't understand how you wouldn't. Now Marcus Haynes just as well, but also Mr. Neal too. You know, Mr. Neal definitely was one of the greatest ball handlers of all time. And again, he was able to do exactly what Marcus Haynes did. And I mean, it's still this is, you know, it's still the skill that it takes to handle the ball the way Curly can handle it. And handling that ball like he did at night after night after night after night, show after show. So Mr. Neal was a great person. So yeah, he hooped down there. So this is funny about stories and cats you run into. And I don't even think I ever told this story. It was a nigga that was cool. Like I told this story before, you know, as being a freshman. And I think it's just worth telling the whole story. You niggas telling the whole stories again. But anyway, so as a freshman, I meet this guy. So we playing the game. I'm going into 10th grade. He's going into his senior year. This nigga is 6'10". Like this nigga's 6'10". And he's like 6'9", maybe 6'9.5" at this point. And the biggest dude we got is about 6'7". So I start, I think I started because my father drove us up there, but talent-wise, I probably should have started. And the first play of the game, this cat gets the ball. He fakes
baseline, goes middle, and just dunks it. Now, again, this is Bona Vista, Saginaw, Bona Vista. It's packed. The niggas go wild. And it's a hot summer day, probably before football season, so maybe late July. The next play, he do the opposite. Fake middle, go baseline, dunk it. I'm looking at this shit like, whoa. Finally, we got the ball. Again, I think I get by this dude. Boom, boom, boom. Hit him with the spin. I'm in front of him. You know, I was like, hitting baseline, and then I hit him with the spin. I'm in front of this nigga. I put that shit up. That nigga was like, knowing what I was going to do and waited and just caught my shit. And then, but when he came down, he kind of brushed me, and the ref called foul and called goaltending, which it wasn't. He erased my shit. But anyway, the big nigga that did the first two dunks ended up going to A&T. His name was Joe Price, and everybody's nickname was 6'10". He never played at A&T. I don't know why. But I brought him up because it's another nigga named Dave, and Dave was from the Midwest too, I think. And it's funny, he smoked squares. But we worked out hard. I mean, people just don't understand. Even though I didn't play college basketball, I worked out with dudes every night. I mean, I literally had the big gym keys. I had the keys to the gym. Yeah, like my 2 years there. Yeah, going into my second year. Matter of fact, I made fake IDs because I don't remember where I got them from. I done stole them from somebody, I'm sure, but I had keys to the main gym. Like even when they would lock us out, I had a key to get in. I don't even remember where I stole it, but I stole it from somewhere. So they would close the gym down, and they wasn't no police check. I mean, we had a police department, but they wasn't, because they see lights in the gym, didn't make them think nothing. You know, what are they gonna think? Well, what can we steal out of there? And we would just hoop. You know, we would just hoop. So I'm hooping with these dudes, and some reason, one way or the other, they wasn't playing. And so, like, one year I was really cool with this dude named Dave, like, you know, and just chill. And matter of fact, me and him was supposed to go to Fort Knox together. And I've said this before. They had a program where you could go to Fort Knox. You just had to, you know, go to 6-8 weeks. You get about, what was it, about $1,200-$1,500. They fed you 3 times a day, and all you had to do is go through basic training. You had no real obligation to the Army. Matter of fact, I got asked to join, you know, the Air Force. Wanted me to join the Air Force, to be officer, because that's what it was. It was officers program. And so, so me and him, you know, and it's funny, I'm gonna tell you, in life, and this brings up another story, and this is reality. Wherever you are in life, wherever you travel, if you see a nigga you think you know, and you think it's them, definitely speak to him. Because I saw a nigga, like, we had to go to Fort Bragg. And I mean, if you ain't been to a big ass major army base, like, it was a place outside of Fort Bragg where you could get Korean hoes. Yeah, down in Fayetteville. I forget what they called that shit. That shit had a name. But like, you could go down there and just get some skanky, you know, Korean hoes. Skanky for sure, but excuse me. But yeah, you could just get some Korean hoes. It was interesting. It was a name for that thing, and I can't think about it. And I mean, you know how many people are on this base? This base got 30, 40,000 people on it. And I'm down there to get a physical, and I saw a nigga I knew. And I should have spoke to him. Because he kind of looked over at me, and I looked over at him, and I'm telling you, like, the room we was in, there's probably 50, 60 niggas in the room. And what was funny is we was getting our prostate checked. One doctor stuck his finger up your ass, the other doctor just took a look. He felt you from underneath. And I remember one boy, he came out, he's rubbing his shit in the back. He's like, God damn. So somebody was popping asses like, hey, all day. Can you imagine that? Popping asses all day, you know, checking prostates all day. Who gets in line to do that? Whose career they want that to be? Well, what did you do today? Well, you know, I checked about 800 prostates today. Did you find any bad ones? Well, a few. Hey, dog, that didn't seem that a little rough, doc. I didn't get it right. I need to do, no, nigga, you're not doing that shit again. No. One time was too much. But anyway, so I don't know if those other cats went. I was supposed to go. Again, I passed the Air Force test. They asked me to join the Air Force. And And what he said to me, you know, when I finally talked to authority, he said, look, we can bring you in. We'll pay all the scholarship, but you're going to have to go to football practice 2 weeks late. Yeah, you don't play, you know. You don't play. Even though I'd have been in shape, I wouldn't have played. You know, that'd have gave me another year not playing. So and I've said before, you know, they didn't give me a ticket. I go to the airport, it's like, hey, my ticket, send me to Fort Wayne from the Army. And it's like, we ain't got nothing up there for you. Nobody called me before and made sure, checked on me, so I ain't end up going. And I bring this up. The nigga that I was cool with the whole other year, the next year I see him, he ends up hooping at Shaw University. I don't even know why I'm in the gym. Maybe I'm working out. Maybe we had an early intramural game. I don't remember. But I'm in the gym early. And I run into the nigga. I was like, hey, what's up? This nigga didn't even speak to me. It's like this motherfucker most time didn't even have weed money. So I kept him high the whole fucking year because he's one of my guys. Then nigga, you hooping somewhere, you can't even speak to me. And I don't know if that brother's still with us or not because he smoked cigarettes and shit back then. But that nigga had that, he was about 6'4", but that nigga could get up. He had them ups back when I had ups, and he was a little taller than me. I remember one time I must have went to the hoop on him, and I must have hit him with the bow and dunked it on him. And he's like, oh, okay. So the next time he went to the hole, he hit me with the same bow, but he didn't dunk it on me because I jumped with his ass, but he hit it with me. Because when I hit him, it stunned him. When he hit me, it didn't stun me, but, you know, it's just like he made that contact where I had to jump kind of, you know, because he kind of, you know, braced into me, you know. So even though me moving, being braced into just for the contact, and then he timed his jump, you know, it's like the hit threw my jump off because his next was to go up. So it made me go up a little slower, you know. So he's like, oh, that's payback. But but we was cool that whole year, so I never understood that. So, because matter of fact, we was sitting there, it was in the trainer's office or something, and one of the guys was in there. Maybe it was Joe Price. And we was just sitting in there talking. So I was in there for something. Maybe I was getting therapy. That's probably why now that's what it was. I think about it, it was like I was getting some kind of therapy. That's why I was up in there. And that's the time I had to get therapy. Yeah, because we had started spring practice by then. I'm on one tonight, y'all. You said you glad they developed a new way. Oh, that is entertaining. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, the weirdest way is they've got a thing like a little needle. And so it's a plastic cup and a little needle. And they, like, if the person doesn't have very big fingers, they can stick your needle there. You know, they can stick you with the tip of that shit and stick your shit. So, and this is funny. So I have a friend, and my friend, wow, his sister just passed. It's kind of a relative because she was married to one of my relatives, and she was like 99 or 100. But anyway, this was my stepfather's really good friends because both of these niggas worked for General Motors for 30 plus years. Like both of them started about the same time. And through the years, you know, they both saw their bread get long. I mean, can you imagine that? Like you and one of your friends started a place, and over the years, you both buy Boss cribs. You drive it because I've said this before. My stepfather had the best perk of any. He got a new car every year, and that ain't including the cars we get financed. That's his job gave him. He worked there for 35 years. He had. Some years he was able to get, well, maybe he financed them, but he had, because some years it overlapped. Like some years we would have 3 cars because the term of the car would lapse. So some years we had 3 cars. But can you imagine that? You don't have a car payment for 30 years. And if you have a car payment and it's 2 people, you only got 1 car payment. So that's a hell of a perk that you don't see anymore. And he was an engineer, you know, and he was all educated by them. Where General Motors educated him into being an engineer. Because he was actually an industrial engineer. And if you really understand the old time industrial engineers, they weren't in the quality control department, but they were collecting the data of how each machine, how it's producing. So they're collecting the data, and then they send that data to the quality people. And then the quality people look at the waves, and especially, you know, the defects, you know, all that is coming up, you know. That's kind of what an industrial engineer does. Now later, but he would work very closely with the quality people, you know. So, but that they trained him to do this, and that's, you know, that showed me that any job, they can send you to school to do it if they like you enough. Now, they obligated to do that if they have the time, and if you have enough fortitude to do what they're asking, and enough experience to do what they're asking. Because most jobs you don't go into, you automatically know how to do it the way they want it done. No place is like that. They have several. Well, that's good. Yeah. Oh, well, I got to pee, so I'm play a little something for y'all, because I do have to pee. Need to stand up. I wish y'all could have heard my back crack. Y'all be like, whoa. Oh, you guys are playing. I don't want to sign in. I just want to find me. Thank you. Okay, really? Thank you. About time. Here we go. I am subscribed. No, I let them fool me. Thank you. All right. All right, I'll pick up from where I left.
This Thursday.
Ooh, what about it? Because I do have to pee. I think this is a pick up from where it left. No, I think I was about here and let him chop a little bit. I think I was about there. So I'll let you listen a bit of this oldie but good show. So
Terror lynchings often included burning, mutilation, sometimes.
maybe I was a little further than this. Let me see. Yeah, I was right in here. Okay.
Physically tore down the jail, so that's what we were trying to figure out, where the jail was that they physically tore down. Because they tore down the jail brick by brick in one of the walls. So we can't really tell which pole is that period. Now she thinks it was over here, but it's possibly might be the pole, because the picture, they cut them down from the picture, and that's why they're all like what she was saying. Then so the picture is basically over here on this corner. So if the pole was once over here, right. So this is where, and I imagine the courthouse couldn't have been very far. I once had a book about the courthouse. Let's go check the monument out. But so here was where they either did it on this corner or this corner, but she thinks it's over here, that the corner was over here. Yeah, so it was actually, the crime was right here. This is where the three men were. It was over here. She said the pole's gone, and she said this, what was this building called? Something ballroom? Because you can't really see the building. So this is the corner right here, historically. Not sure where the police station was.
The Paul Robson ballroom, and I think this
Police station might have been right here at one point that they tore down and broke into. Let's see what, this is the monument. Take some pictures too. Huh. Okay, it says here,
All right. And if you want to watch this, but what's interesting is, despite all what this monument is, you still see a little loud. What you still see is sigils, and you see binds. This looks really like old Sanskrit, or even if people study the Anunnaki, the way this is purposely that type of style. So they chose this for a reason. So despite what they show you, and again, you see these diamines, so this is all a kind of bind, because even though they're admitting their guilt, it is full of ways that kind of, like, they even, they even put some stuff in here that kind of reflects to see, because it's so satisfying to, it says the reformative effect of punishment is a relief that dies hard. Chiefly, I think it's because it's so satisfying to our sadistic impulses. I mean, again, why would they put something like this? This is justifying that they're sadistic. You dig? And so, you have to understand, even though this is a memorial, it comes with locks and binds. Okay. We are responsible for the world in which we find ourselves, only because we are the only sentient force that can change it. Yeah, okay. We are a mirror as well, and face it. We are tasting the taste this minute of eternity. We are pain, and what causes pain? We are sweet something. Inside me, there are two dogs. One of the dogs is mean, evil. The other dog is good. The mean dog fights the good dog all the time. When asked which dog wins, reflected for a moment, replied, the one I need the most. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And that's interesting. The one I need the most. This tells who paid for it. Our arts program, okay. Now, this, I don't think, let me see if I can get a clear shot of them. I don't know how, let me see. Yeah, this is, I must admit, this is, what you have to understand is there is Lake Superior. And this is like miles from Lake Superior. So to give them that eternal energy, and I don't know if this faces the lake now I think about it, but yeah, the lake encompasses it. I'm sure it does. But this, it's like with the lake energy and them showing them, real life. It's done so well that you see that it wasn't just, nobody and just names that was murdered. These was people that, people watched up. Someone had to, help raise. And all he was doing is, all they were guilty of is working. Working with a group. And so easily murdered. And, the pictures are historical. So, well, thank you. Man, I got it whiteboard up. Too hard. Okay. I cut the shit off the top of my head. I was like, damn, how did I do that? New razors. So that's just some of my old stuff. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. All right. Let me talk about something other than my old experiences. Let's talk about the weather up in this motherfucker. Y'all know how I do in the Great White North. This is how the Galactic Patio is calling it tonight, and why we got that fire burning for you up here in the Galactic Patio. It's a crispy 17 on the motherfuckers. And today it's going to be a high of 36, baby. So it's still a cold all day. Now, Saturday is going to warm up quite a bit. It's going to be 45. Then Friday, 45. Saturday, 40. But still low freezing. So at night, I still need my coat, baby. 42 Sunday, Monday, 48.
48 Tuesday. So it's going to be kind of nice. You dig? April 1st, baby. This is my brother's birthday. Man, that nigga's got to be, 58? I think 58? 66? Wouldn't that make you 58? Yeah, 66. He about to be 58. Because I'm not quite 6 years older than him. I'm like, what are we? We're at 3. So I'm like 8, 9 months. I'm like 5 years and 8 months or some shit like that older than him. So that mug will be 58. Much love to him. So that's how we looking up here. Even though we had 12 inches of snow a couple days ago, it didn't hurt nothing. And like my homeboy says, ain't no future. Oh, L Reborn Amaru Khan, what's happening? I'm glad to see you. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry.
Got to have vision.
Oh, so that's how we doing on the Galactic Patio. You know, we try to do it fair. There's nothing wrong with being a square. It really isn't. I love everything and everybody. That's how it is. Oh yeah, this is I guess the biggest debauchery we can start with when we get into, what do we call it? The morbid news. We'll start off the morbid news with this cat. And you know, this is also that season, so you know, they're starting to sacrifice their own because it is that season. So this cat's a year younger than my mother. My mother's 83. Former U.S. Senator Lieberman. Well, you know what that means. He died. He was 82. Former U.S. Senator and Democratic Party Vice President nominee has died at 82 after suffering complications from a fall. Damn. His beloved wife and members of the family were with him when he passed. He was with the Democratic Party nominee, vice president in 2001 by Republican George Bush. His funeral was set for Friday. Okay. Is this going to show a little bit of him? Okay, you got to skip the commercial. This is showing him a little bit. Oh, man. Not going to say it. Come on, lady. We want to see Joe Lieberman. We don't want to see you in your magenta. There he is, when he looked healthier and better. See what I told you? Lieberman, so you already see. So they're trying to get that guy in there for VP. Look, all the pictures they showing you. What he was about. So, farewell. Farewell, Joe. Thank you for your work. Okay. It's more going on than just me. But me is good. Oh, yeah. Bad Boys 4. When is this coming out? When is Bad Boys 4 coming out? Let's see. I don't know. Lawrence didn't look too good, but we'll see. I mean, you know, they can pep you up. Look, they all got that fake hair. We know all this is fake. But they're good at the fake hair now, the spray, the hair fill-in, the hair particles. But can they pass Martin? Let's see how well Martin can talk. I thought this was 25. Made 400 off a 90-minute. Let me see. What says blah blah blah. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Much of a, I don't know. Looking at these pictures of Martin, I don't know. It's all I really need. Your love is all I need. Your love is all I need. So I don't know, y'all. I was trying to figure out when it was coming out. Thought it was 25. So, you know, I see movies. I think Godzilla comes out tomorrow. So I'm like, I might pass over Ghostbusters and fuck Ghostbusters. That's where it's looking. Oh, yeah, we got to do the March Madness. We got to do the March Madness. Clothes. Let's see. March Madness. What games we coming into? All right. This is a good way to break it down. Good way to break it down, y'all. Put it on wax. Looking for that good stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Tighten up on your backstroke. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, do y'all think that song will be a hit today? You know, niggas come on stage talking about looking for that good stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Tighten up on your backstroke. Do you think that would pass today? You think people was like, damn. But I like the confidence they used to come. They was confident when they came up. They was looking for that good stuff. I love how confident they used to be in them old funk songs. All right, we going to get it right here. I'm putting it on wax. What's the day's date? 28th. 28th on the motherfucker. We've got number 10, Colorado versus number 2, Marquette. I'm going to say I already called this. I already called it. I'm going with Marquette. I think I did this already. So Marquette, that's the first game. First game Friday. Yeah. So I got Marquette. Utah State, Purdue. I think I already did this though. Purdue. James Madison, Duke. I'm going with Duke for sure. All right. Or is this Thursday? No, this is Friday. Saturday. And that night this is gonna be the game of the year right here. No, they already played. Damn, giving me faulty. These games we already had. Y'all got me fucked up. Giving me X games. Okay. Hey, bracket. Men's. All right, where are we at? No, we need the bracket. I'm tripping too though. Oh, they gave me to be announced. To be announced. Okay. Oh, okay. I think they're giving us the games. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yesterday. Okay, today. Okay, so Thursday, the games is tonight, y'all. Damn, I didn't know that. The games is tonight. So here we go. Break these. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. So right there. Oh, let me show you. Let me share screens. Sorry. All right, here we go, guys. All right. Arizona against Clemson. I'm going with I like Arizona. I don't know. This one, let me think about that. I might change that. Let's see. Alabama, North Carolina. I'm going with definitely NC. I'm definitely going NC. San Diego State, UConn. I got UConn. All right. Illinois, Iowa State, baby. I got Illinois. I got that Big Ten. You know I got to go with the Big Ten. All right. Let's run the full gamut of the other 4 games. All right. Oh, this is tomorrow? No, this is tomorrow too. It's 8 and 8. 8 and 8, yeah. 8 every day. First must be Friday today. Okay. All right. So Friday's game. Let's put it on wax. Friday's game is North Carolina State against Marquette. Damn, I think I already gave you Marquette, baby. I think State might beat them though. Duke, Houston. I like Houston, but I'm going to go with Duke, baby. I like Houston, but I think I saw a weakness in them. That Duke seems to get the advantage. I'm not going to give up this is going to be a great game. Gonzaga and Purdue is going to be one of the best games. And I don't know. You know, I know PJ likes them a little bit, and they just seem to give them that run. But Big Ten, baby, all day. Get the fuck out of here. Big Ten, Purdue. Big Ten all day. We don't play. Now this one, I am definitely going with Creighton. I think they're gonna be enough scores, but that is a great game. Now, the two that I question, I don't question that one. Yeah, I kind of do. No, I'm feeling solid. Arizona, they should handle Houston. Clemson, they definitely should handle them. Yeah, I don't see any problems there. So that's what I got. I got Arizona going through, North Carolina tomorrow, UConn, Illinois. This is Thursday. Okay. Friday, I got Marquette, Duke, Purdue, Creighton. All right, it's on wax. Let the chips fly as they must. So that's what I got on wax, y'all. Hey, James Gant, thank you for coming.
You got to have vision.
Thank you for the kind words. Are you gonna follow me? Okay. I'll tell you though, the two games I look most forward to watching is definitely Duke and Houston, but Purdue Gonzaga. I mean I can't wait to watch that game, and I like they give me the 4 channels because I like watching all. I'm the ADD, AFKs, EZK. I'm up and down anyway. So when they give me all them screens, that holds my attention. Oh. But it's just breaking down film and stuff. So I like that. I like they put them all on at once, or they put 2 at a time. That shit, I like that shit. That's what they'll do. They'll put 2 games. The way they got this, they'll put 2 games on at a time. This is what I don't like. So the way they did 2 games, okay, when they give you 4, because I only got a 65-inch, but when they gave me 4, it was about 4 45-inch or 40-inch each. But what's interesting, when it switched to 2, like my other TV, when it switched to 2, it would give you like half the screen of both. This doesn't. This gives you still, they just put the 2 40-inch screens beside themselves. The other one, the other TV, they gave me the full screen. They just cut full screen on both sides. So that was kind of a nice little bonus to have. And they seem not to do. So that's all right. Shit. It's all right too. San Diego State, UConn was last year's national championship. Yep. Exactly. But Marquette, North Carolina State, they like North Carolina State. They usually like them in the tournament. So that's my only thing about Marquette. They like North Carolina State. And Marquette, has only won it the one time with Al McGuire. So I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina wins that game. That's my only one I would say, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina won that game. I think Clemson kind of got lucky. I think Arizona's going to be a little too tough for them. And I hope it's not a blowout. I hope they all cook. Now, Iowa State, I'll tell you, Iowa State is a tough team. Illinois is going to have everything they can handle. So I'd like to see that. I wonder what the line is. I wouldn't be surprised. They're favored. So let's look at that. 24s. Betting line. Here we go. Odds, spreads. Here we go. Okay, nigga, I know. How long have I been going? Oh, I'm close to 2 hours. I'm on one tonight. God damn. And I'm gonna tell you, like looking at this young man. Let me show you this. Let me show you him. Like the only thing, like looking at this cat, Charles Barkley really wasn't that far from this cat. I would say the only thing with Charles Barkley at his size and this girth, Charles could run. I mean, even when Charles was fat in college, he could still run. I mean, that probably, that he could run even with the weight, that probably helped him a lot more when he did trim down and get more muscle. Hopefully this guy will get like this, but we've seen other guys, get into the league. Like, remember the guy who sat out during the COVID and, he gained 400 pounds and, some kind of way he died young. And that's, I just hope this young man, gets on a good program wherever he goes, because right now they ain't really good program. All right, Arizona versus Clemson, the money line. Arizona is giving up 7.5. So again, 260, or you put up the 350. So you got to pay 260 to win 100. Same thing here. No over under. What's over and under? Okay, right here, 152. So that's 80. That's less than 80 a team. Now that might be interesting here. The over and under might be the one to fuck with. That might be what to fuck with here is the over and under. Because right now they're saying that's 75 apiece. So they're already telling you this is going to be a low. And then they're saying 8-point spread. I would say this might be a blowout here. Looking at these odds, this might be a blowout. What they're giving up. And I would say take the over. Because it'll probably be a blowout. They're already telling you they're giving 8. So let's see what this is. Now the numbers here are a lot closer. Look at the betting things. So, yeah, I wouldn't take this. I definitely wouldn't take this. I would take this. They're giving up 4. Wow. Yeah, I would take this right here. I would take this and them and giving up 4. Yeah, that's the bet. That's the bet right here. I would take the 4. I would give them that. Yeah, definitely give them that. They're giving up 10. Ooh. Where? I was trying to see where are they playing. They're giving up 10. Again, to win 100, 650. To win 100, 75, 475. That might be what's interesting. I think I would this seems the most interesting that of consistent numbers is this. I think San Diego State is not bad, and these numbers kind of aren't a big a swing as you would think. And then they're saying low score, so this is. Yeah, that might they might put this in jeopardy. Just this, I don't know if this is one to touch. This one I would stay away from. These numbers, I don't like any of these numbers. Here, wow, look at that. They only giving up 1, and look at the money. So 100, you could win, 135 here. 110, you can win 100. Again, low scoring. Low scoring. Like I said before, I've taken Illinois. I'll take that 1 point. I'll take the 1.5. Yeah, I've taken Illinois, and I'm taking that 1.5 with Illinois. I think this is going to be interesting. This is probably going to be a good game looking at these numbers. Wouldn't be surprised with this 1.5. This might be the under. This just might be the under. Let's check out Purdue and Gonzaga. What are the numbers saying? Purdue's giving up 5. Wow, no faith in Purdue. Well, they're telling you two good teams, 2 good teams. 5. Wow, Purdue's giving up 5. Gonzaga's 185. Purdue. Now they're giving up 5, and you're kind of, we've got another Big Ten team. Expect low scoring expectations. You see that? Low scoring expectation. This might be a trend. We might be the trend these two together. I would go this makes me think, looking at how they're doing both of these Big Ten schools, close game, probably under. Illinois, I would take Illinois under. I would give the 1.5. Okay. And then right here, interesting again. 80, right? Less than 80. So in the 70s. They're saying both teams are going to score in the 70s. I would say this might be over, but again, looking at what the other game is doing and giving the 5, they're expecting this to be a close game. So I'm going to take the Purdue and give up the 5. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than what they're showing. I would take the over on this one too. Oh, wow. Okay, this is a day of, look at this, another low score. Low score again. They're giving Tennessee 2. So if you want Creighton, you can take Creighton in 2. I'm picking Creighton to win, and I'm taking the 2 points, the +2. Yeah, they're this is over too. I think over here. Now, this is interesting. They're saying Houston, I'm taking Duke in 4 all day. I'm taking Duke in 4 all day. And again, they're low scoring. 70-70. That's what they're telling you. Yeah, I'm taking over on this. You know what, though? I'm going to tell you, if they get Houston in foul trouble, Houston's pretty much done. That number 1 got in foul trouble late. It almost cost them the game the other night. Yeah, I'm taking Duke. Wow. Man, I think it's going to be a higher. They both have the potential to be much higher. So I'm going to go over again. Could be wrong, but whatever. Okay. So I pick Marquette. Yeah, I'm going to stay with Marquette. I pick Marquette. Give up 6. Yeah. Give up 6. And I'd say this might be under 2. Give up 6, it might be under, so. Pin the results, it'd be Connecticut or San Diego State. So it'd be Connecticut versus Iowa State, North Carolina versus Arizona, Duke versus Marquette, Gonzaga or Purdue, Tennessee, Creighton, Purdue, Creighton. So that's me on wax, y'all, you sports lovers. That is me on wax. What does he say? That's realer than real deal Holyfield. And you hookers and hoes know how I feel. It's funny. I did that bridge story the other night, and it's just, wow, it's turned into something more. I was just, what is this? And it turned into a lot more. So I was surprised. I was like, okay. So sometimes just fucking around, you get some news, and especially being up late. It's like that Kobe shit. I got it like the people that was the gamers was the ones that passed that shit on. Because I got up and I had like just got done streaming. It was like 4:30, maybe 5. And my son, like I got up and done streaming, and my son is like called my son came in there and was like, man, did Kobe die? I was like, whoa. So I called Sly. I was like, Sly. I called him. I was like, man, did Kobe die? You heard anything? And I must have woke him up, and he's like, no. And then he went live and he looked into it. So, I mean, the gamers be up all night. They be passing that information. So I don't know who this is, but it looks like this is part of the morbid news. Fritz, German actor who played German Jew Fritz Wendell in Bob's Oscar-winning musical masterpiece, Cabaret. In his home country on TV series, Derek, for heaven's sake, he was 82. Wow. An actor and a person in government. Okay. Okay. My leg about cramp. A German Jew. Okay. Weber died in Munich's hospice, life-threatening sepsis he suffered last year. Sepsis. A childhood actor landed the biggest international role of his career in Cabaret in 1972, where he appeared alongside Liza Minnelli, Michael York, Helmut Greer, and Joey Gray. As Wendell, he passed as a Protestant and fell in love with a wealthy Jewish heiress, Marissa Barrison. After his film success, it ranked 8th in Oscars. Welber turned down Hollywood offers, instead took a sidekick role as Klein in the German crime series Derek. Pairing alongside host trappers to titular homicide detective, a cop who never lost his cool or drew a gun. Klein had created an early German crime series, which for 8 seasons. Okay. He's phenomenon, 25 seasons. Wow. Wow, all those years he's able to do that one role. Character became a coach for Tombstone. Okay. First major role came at the bridge. A handful of young boys assigned to defend the bridge during the final days in a suicide and pointless mission. It's nominated for Oscar for both Best Film and won the Golden Globe. German Film Award, longtime comedy series For Heaven's Sakes, portrayed Wolfgang. Wow. He had notable performances. Bullshit. Okay. I don't know if y'all don't even know about the cabaret. Let me hip y'all. It goes, how's it go? Oh, this got him. Okay, they got more pictures of Fritz. I guess he was more of a Nazi looking dude. This is Fritz. Oh, it's this cat? No, it's this cat. I think it's that cat. Let's see. Must be him, because that's somebody else. What is his name? This must be Fritz when he's younger. Cabaret actor Fritz. He looked like a Nazi, don't he? Oh, she rolling her eyes. Oh, look at the Nazi. Oh, no, it is him. Wait. Look at all that makeup. She got the big eyebrows, though. Did y'all notice that? She had the big eyebrows. So that's who died. She had the big eyebrows. What was your Iowa State? I got Illinois. What was you looking for the points? What was your Illinois? What'd you say? No. What'd you say? What was your Illinois Iowa play again? I got to go back to see point spreads. Let's see. I think I'm picking Illinois. But I have to see what's the over and under on it. Is it just a search? God damn. Let's see. Where would that motherfucker be where I just looked that bitch up? I gotta look it up again. Must be. Okay. Here we go. Odds. Let's see. Here we go. I had to look it up again. So I'm saying, why motherfucker knew what I was looking for. So Illinois was. So I'm taking the one. Yeah, this, like I'm looking at like what they're giving you now is all low scoring games. And I mean, they do themes of this, like when we're looking at how they do games, there's themes, low scoring, look at this. I think this is the highest one they predict. Every other game, low. Look at this, one low. We talking about 70, 80 points. Look at this, 143. None of these games. So you see what I'm saying? And they only have one game, where the teams is gonna get 80, at least 80 a game. So, this North Carolina game is the only game they say gonna be a high scoring game. Now, as we look at their trends, I don't know. If like the first game they televise is going to show the trend, that first game and the end of that first game. But it just seems like, it's a trend here. That's why I'm looking for some of these that, it's definitely, I'll say the majority of them, when we see this, is probably going to be under. I mean, they're telling me a trend of low scoring games, and it's like the ones to score with that, that would be, the over games. So, but you said Illinois. Yeah, I'm taking Illinois, and I'm taking the 1.5 points with Illinois. Again, this Illinois can score, so I'm really thinking this one's gonna go over. I mean, if I'm touching any of them, I think this one's definitely going to go over. I think Illinois is going to score more than 60 points or more than 70 points. I think Illinois is capable of scoring 80, 90 points. But, wrong or right, we're going to see a common theme. Just looking at what they're showing you now, there's going to be a common theme to these games. They're either going to all be over or all be under. I don't think we're going to see a big swing. I think we're going to see a pretty solitary thing. And so it's picking which one you think is going to be over and under, because it seems like it's going to more than likely either all the games is going to be overs or it's going to be very low scoring like they're predicting. So it's predicting which one of these that could be over. And I think that, this is one good game that I think of all the games, this one might be the one under because Alabama might have a tough time scoring. But this 4-point spread tells you they think that Alabama ain't going to have too tough a time scoring, that they're going to be able to stay close. And this is the only big swing of all of them, if you see. This is the only big swing, so. But yeah, I'm taking that, and I think, going, I think Illinois is going to score more, so I think this is be over, and I'll take the 1.5, and I'll take Illinois. So, Big Ten, baby. I take Big Ten. I take the Big Ten. Every time, baby. Oh, it's funny how, like, you look at clothes, and it's like, it's some, it's some jerseys you can get. Like, when you get the real team jersey, like now, now baseball is Nike. And but you can get a Fanatics jersey. And the only difference between the two, one don't have a name on it. The Nike symbol. But the same company makes the jersey. One is 170 and one is like you might can get it cheaper than 170, especially once the season goes. Especially in the fall. The baseball stuff gets real cheap in the fall. I saw the suite. How it's just stuff that's cool. It's a Nike. It's a type of tech, but it's more of the dry fit tech. And it was originally 125. I saw it online for 90. And at store, they still had it marked 105. And it was with a thing of, because now they're trying to sell all the U jerseys. Kirk Cousins jersey. Let me get this right. A Nike Kirk Cousins jersey, $15. Because it was 50% off. But maybe it was maybe it was new reduced. But it was 32 on there. But I think it was the color where you even got more off. So they like fuck Kirk Cousins. Like fuck Kirk Cousins. But they had a lot of U jerseys. It was still expensive, but the U with gold and number 1. But I got my eye on that Twins jersey. I'm gonna keep going in there and see when they get cheaper and cheaper. That's just how it works. You just wait on stuff. And that's what it is. Is getting it at the best price. Oh, Macy's suits right now, guys. Macy's suits are like crazy. Like Macy's got a crazy right now. Their sales are crazy. If you want a suit, especially a winter, little not too thick, but a nice little, and still you can get the stretchy stuff. I don't mind the stretchy pants and the stretchy coats. So, and you can get them to hem your shit up too. Macy's to hem your shit up. So, for those of you that like that kind of thing, have at it. Have at it. I'm trying to really, I don't know. I get vain, but I think, it's like I'm vain, but because I'm vain, I can move things around, and it's like, I could just move a few things around. It's like, oh, okay. Do my vainness, it's just funny. It's just funny. Yeah, my points over and under. Yeah, my points is I'm taking, what did they say? I'm taking the 1.5 and I'm taking the over. Yeah, I'm taking Illinois and 1.5 over. I got to get that bet in. I got to get that stuff in. Get my tournament results in. So it's a little more. And, it messed me up not being able to get the paper I predict and get the paper because somebody stole the insert. I was like, man, because I was standing in line. And that's kind of like, just the way I process stuff when I'm in the store. And that's why I say, my type of dyslexia is just the way sometimes, like I've said before, I'm sure a girl used to double count me and stuff in the bank. And it's, and I think I was susceptible to it just because of the way I process things. I think she was not, quick changing me. I think a lady was quick changing me. And I think it stopped because, like, she let me hit it a couple of times. So I think that stopped her from quick changing me. But I think she was stealing from me at first. And it's just some things I just don't perceive sometimes. As I said before, I get kind of blinded. I get so hemmed into something that sometimes I'm blind of seeing, like, not that I'm not aware. And it's mostly shopping, but it's like some things I just, I don't know. I'm so horned in. And if it's like, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. Like sometime when, for y'all, if I go back there and look for a book because I'm under pressure, it's like the way I start processing because of the stress and trying to do it. And, I don't see what I'm supposed to see, if that makes sense for anybody. That, I've never said I was perfect, but that's just the way, if I was to get up and look for a book, I get flustered very easy because I know where it should be, but if it's not where it should be, it's like, so, but that's the kind of thing that, my processing. So I've learned to live with it. And it's like people in the stores with you. Be like, when I was hurt, my back was hurt, and I couldn't lift nothing. I knew everybody in the store. I'd go by the service counters, like, man, you in here because they knew I was in there to get water. I was in there to get cat food, and I would get litter, and I couldn't lift that shit at the time. So the service desk people would see me, and they was like, get somebody with me. Like, you need somebody you getting that stuff today? And like, yeah, thank you. So if you're just cool, speak to people and be cool with people. Even when they make little mistakes, if you just be cool with them, they treat you cool and humanly. And that's all we can ask for, is to be humanly with each other. I mean, they just, like the sadness is like what people like. See, one problem with the system is the system wants you to dream to be a certain kind of star, not telling you that it's a lot of ways to be a star. It's a million stars, and none shine hotter than the one above us. So it ain't just one way to do that or to be that. Like I mentioned before, there's ways to come out of your house, and I say Super Saiyan, but it's a ways where you can be a star, just your own kind of star. I mean, I know I ain't the only one. As I go around, I just be hearing that music, do 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 do. Just it's just a natural tune when I be moving around, and you check yourself out, and you like, damn, and you look at the way you're moving, and you just like, wow. And it's almost like a movie because you just check you sit and you did all your moves and you're like, man, this shit really like did something. And you become your own star. And if you're solid, like with my wife's family, they saw me lose my temper with my daughter being disrespected. I was like, I'm not being disrespected. But that's where that came from. Like last time before we went to the last football game, I'm like, little girl, me and you been getting along. And this is what you're going to do because you got nervous energy. It's not acceptable. And that's, as they become adults, that's what they think. They think as they stand up closer to face you, they think that changes attitudes a whole bunch. But it's like you still got to have respect. And I'm far from perfect. But, I try. That's why I say, if this message ain't loud enough, I'm still trying. And all the people, I put those sounds out there, those is vibrations. And all the people that don't mind them little things, and the Richard Pryor family, and the Jimi Hendrix, Malcolm X, all the people that let me play those sounds, and whoever put those Dick Gregory's out there. I mean, this is me, trying to relate, to give you ideas. As I say, with Sly Stone at Woodstock, it's definitely to take you higher. Yeah, be the present moment. Yeah, and that's and that's where it comes from, is be there now. It's like that's some shit you got to always remind yourself, Because what you don't understand is like, okay, what a dude said. What did he say in I don't know, stolen property or whatever's talked about? He said the worst thing about prison is being used to it. Well, the same thing can happen to success and just fortune. You get used to it. So just because you have fortune, you don't think like your dreams, is still there, because you get used to having fortune. So your old habits don't go anywhere. You still are doing what you did before. You just got more means to do what you want than before. And what also comes is higher dreams. He's like, okay, shit, all this is possible. Well, this is definitely possible. And so it's always a type of build. But remember, in every build, there's a level. And sometimes it'd be time to level off. Say, okay, I'm gonna absorb all this in before the next move. And that's kind of what, my wife and I did, because we could have got a house. We got approved to get another house and keep this motherfucker. I mean, we just had to take the house, but it's like, nah, it's like our taste and what was the market was, it's like, yeah, I like this and you like that, so it ain't time. And it was like, I've said before, at a certain point, it's like, how am I going to spend all this money and I got to do stuff to it? That's not a good deal. And that's not a good market. Where, if I have to be raised up here, then you ain't got to do nothing to them houses. So I said, well, okay, to get one of them houses you ain't got to do nothing to, I'm going to hustle a little more. Me and my family, we're going to hustle a little more, and then we'll be there. The market's going to be what the market is. Because where I live, it's nothing but expansion down here, south. It's still land down here by where I live. It's still, now, ain't a lot of driving, country driving, but I mean, it's still places where they're really building, and beautiful communities down here. Like where Tyus and his brother are from, Apple Valley, that's a beautiful area. And Gary Trent, they're all from the same little area. That's not far from me. Beautiful area. Yeah. And what's funny about where I live is like, I was reading the crime report. There's supposed to be a lot of crime where I'm living. I'm trying to think because this area is pretty big for a suburb where we live is fairly big. I think it's roughly 60,000, 64,000. I get them because Bloomington, I think, is about 80,000. So Bloomington is a little bigger, but I think land wise, we might be pretty close. Because where we stretch is interesting. It's because we're like almost damn near parts of Prior Lake. It's kind of interesting where Burnsville hits and Savage. I mean, the cities are all, so close together. But I don't know. I don't have a lot. The only thing I got to do is go get my new inserts. And these inserts are going to get beat down because they're going to definitely be for me to play pickleball and work out and walk. So and I think I can get inserts every 6 months. So these are really going to get put to the test. Oh my goodness. Did I mention earlier about seeing the physical therapist on my Achilles? Oh man. No, I don't think I mentioned that. Now, one thing that hurt me, it helped me as a child, but it hurt me as an adult. And many of you can probably relate to this. If you knew people that toe walked. So for one reason or another, I think my father walked the same way. I just think my grandfather probably walked that way. We just developed where we started walking on our toes. And I mean, like when I was young, I mean, literally just all the time on my toes. And again, when you like are developing calf muscles and you're developing, what do you call here? Your groin muscles, hip flexors. So, to be able to dunk a basketball, you have to have strong hip flexors and you have to have strong groin, strong calves. So walking on my toes, it developed that jumping ability. Because what is basketball? Quick moves on your toes and up. Well, for a young man, that helped me. But as I got older and I didn't need all that strength, that a lot of injuries come from that. And, and to the point where I had to be taught how to walk again. You know, the first probably 25, 30 years of my life, I walked on my toes. But as I got older, that hurt me. And I literally had to learn how to walk again. That's why when I tore my Achilles and then had surgery on my calf to remove the blood clot, I mean, that's all the work I did on my Achilles up to then. I had to learn how to walk again because a lot of the strength was taken out of my leg again. So on top of, that stress and suffering, I still had to learn how to remember foot, toe, foot, toe, foot, toe. But there's things you can buy. I got this little toe inserts. I need to order some more. Definitely need to order some more. The new inserts, and then I put those toe things on. That seems to be the remedy. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for the coming months. Yeah. I'm excited for the coming months. And I hope you are too, wherever you are. Because this does seem a time of abundance for us all. Now it's going to be definitely some trying time. Don't think it's not. Election year always is. I mean, it's going to be a lot of deception, already distractions. And I think what people get fooled is distraction. It's like some things, do you really care? Like, you know, why do we care so much about what these niggas is going through? That's what amazes me. The nigga. Motherfuckers look at niggas' lives like you really know this nigga. That you don't. But yet you got opinion. You got to tell people about this nigga. But is that how the world works for us? Everybody got to talk about the same nigga? Is that what it works about? Well, you didn't talk about that nigga, so we're not going to watch you because you didn't talk about that nigga. I mean, is that really what everybody's into? Nigga drama. And don't think that, Eurasians don't go through the same thing. They go through the same thing. They had that Johnny Depp shit when there was other shit going on in the world. You don't see this? These is all actors. This is part of entertainment. I mean, didn't it look like entertainment when you see an army rushing a dude's house? Now, hey, think about it. Think about this. What did we see? A dude was over the airport in Dallas or somewhere, and this nigga was just selling guns, which is legal. It's legal to this state. It's legal for me to sell somebody a gun. Maybe they just passed a law, but for a long time, I could sell you a gun if I had a gun. But they bust up in his house. He fired back at their ass. So, when they take an army to get a motherfucker that ain't really, really the one shooting would shine, they really takes an army. It's theatrical. It's overkill. It's too much. It's not believable. And you should know better. Sometimes ignore the beast. That's what people have problems with. You can't ignore the beast. Niggas don't understand, like we take bites from it, but it's like we need to know when to take bites from it or not. When to fall for the bullshit it puts out there and when not to fall for it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Got you thinking about shit you shouldn't give a fuck about. That's the biggest part of it all. For a wide variety of people, they got you thinking about shit you shouldn't give a fuck about. Now remember, here in Minnesota, we had a bridge collapse because they wasn't taking care of the motherfucker. Nigga called me, is like, who's attacking Minnesota? Now these motherfuckers just didn't take care of the bridge. Now they have a similar place, and a place already kind of hit hard and trying to keep business going and feeding the people. But something happens very much out the ordinary. Okay. Well, what's the socioeconomical impact of all that? And how much is it going to cost to build that motherfucker? Do they got the money to build it? Is the feds going to give them some money? 'Cause I'm sure it's some kind of insurance on both sides. Bridge probably got some kind of insurance. That ship probably got some kind of insurance. Says it's time to stand up. Stand up! I'm kind of like Michael Jordan, y'all. You're about to see why. See that? Oh. I wear these over under everything. I take them to the cleaners every day, and I put on my substitute. So I take them to the cleaners every day. Only after like the last minute when they're about to close, when I'm like, okay, I'm done wearing them. First thing in the morning, I put a substitute. Go get these Michigan shorts, and then wear them, and do the same thing every day. So I wear them under everything. Like Michael Jordan used to wear them Carolina shorts under his North Carolina shorts, and then his Bulls shorts. So I wear this under my cool outfits, and you see, but I don't have them showing. That's not me. Oh, okay. Let's see. Is any debauchery going on tonight, you guys? You know I can talk all day. Oh, it gave me something here. Whose debauchery can we get into? Oh, that's right. I am not into my thing, so I've got to invent something. Well, let's invent it. Ah, there we go. Oh, excuse me. Oh, let's see if it need debauchery in this area. Damn, measles. What? Measles? We need to know something about measles. I got to show this, y'all. We need to know something about measles. Damn, I didn't know nothing about measles. Man, let these good your Asians tell us what's happening. Here we go. What's happening?
In the United States and all around the world.
3 of those cases we know were right here in Minnesota. Now, measles declared eliminated in the United States in the year 2000, but declining vaccination rates are increasing a risk of outbreaks. So here to talk about what parents need to know about measles, we've got Dr. Gigi Chawla, the Chief of General Pediatrics at Children's Minnesota. Always great to hear from you.
Well, glad to be back again. Sorry.
Damn, not only is she cute, look at her. Now, you know I love her. Look at her. I think she lost a little weight. Look at her. She's looking good. She's got her mixed in magenta and Carolina blue. And look at him. I like that Michael Strahan. That is just straight up Michael Strahan. But look at Doc. Look at her. I like her shoes, her little tights, her little Lululemon pants. Oh, I like it. See, Minnesota motherfuckers don't be playing. Let's go.
About the topic.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because before, I'm thinking right around COVID, after COVID, as we got out of COVID, we saw that a lot of parents were taking their kids to the doctor and they weren't necessarily up to date on their vaccines. Is that what we're seeing here, or is this something else?
Well, that was true, right? Certainly families made choices not to come into healthcare organizations because they were worried about getting sick.
Right.
A lot of those kids have really caught up on their vaccines, but MMR is one of those vaccines where you get it by 1 year of age. And so it hasn't really been that they missed an opportunity during the 3-year pandemic. These are really choices that are about MMR right now.
So what exactly do we know about the cases that we're seeing in Minnesota and around the country?
Yeah, first, measles is a highly contagious infectious illness. It's a spring virus, so this is the time where we would expect, if measles was going to be around, that people would acquire the illness, and it usually comes into the country from an international exposure. So spring break can be one of those reasons why measles can spread. And as a virus, it causes things that are, you can see red eyes, cough, congestion, and cold symptoms, but then also high.
I'm going to have to interrupt her. Well, when I started, my eyes were redder. My eyes are pretty red. What do you guys think? My
Why is it red? My eyes are always red. I had the measles back in 1962. So let's go.
High fever and rash, and it makes people really sick. Like, this is not a cold. This is, most kids coming down with measles are hospitalized even in the ICU. So you want to try to prevent this. It can lead to death. It can lead to a chronic brain infection. And that is the reason that we think so strongly that we should get people vaccinated. This vaccine.
Okay, I'm done. I'm grossed out. I'm scared. I had the measles, the mumps, chicken pox. I had all that shit. Look at me. That grossed me out. Hey. Oh. This is some funny shit, y'all.
Get new replacement windows.
When they can stick it to conservatives, they do. Here you go. Watch this. No, you're too fast for me. Oh, I got to sneeze. All right. When they can stick it to conservatives, they stick it to them. Especially they be talking shit. They get these motherfuckers. All right, here we go.
My Pillow Company has been kicked out of a building where they make pillows. The landlord of this building in Shakopee says My Pillow owes more than $200,000 in rent and other charges. Because of that, a judge evicted the company. CEO Mike Lindell did not show up to the hearing today. Last year, he did give us a tour inside the My Pillow facilities. This is the latest financial blow for the controversial founder of the company who made false claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. We asked for a response to today's eviction, but
nigga, this some broke ass doing work. Oh man,
not show up to the hearing today. Don't
this remind you of slave work? That these guys, look at this.
Year
work.
he did give us a tour in.
Look at this shit. Look at all this shit he got to work around. Is that fiberglass? This nigga ain't got no mask. Look at that shit. Look, he ain't got his hands, and this looks like some fiberglass like shit. Look at these slaves.
Inside the My Pillow facilities, this is the
This nigga ain't got no face covering. He breathing all that shit in. Oh, whatever. Is this feathers? I don't know what the fuck they put in this shit.
Latest financial blow.
Don't it look like a sweatshop? This place look like a sweatshop. Don't it? It's set up like a sweatshop. Look at all this shit. All that shit build up like it. This you ingesting. Look, it's on his face and on his clothes. You breathing that shit in. You breathing that shit in. This is where you definitely need a mask. But look at these broke jobs. These is broke jobs.
Blow for the
Look, this is some broke jobs. Look at this shit. Look at that. Look at that. These is slave work. This is slave work. I knew a nigga, they offered him this job. He was telling me, like, man, I got offered him the job at the pillow factory. Man, this is some shit I could have never did. God damn, I'm glad I had to do this bullshit. Look at these people. How much money you think they was really paying people? Look at this shit. Look at that shit. Look at all that. And this sewing, how you gotta be quick with this sewing. Sewing these seams on these motherfucking pillows constantly. Man, this look like sweatshop work. Tell me where I'm wrong. This sweatshop work. Making the motherfucking pillows and shit. Look at that. Oh my goodness, what is this? Stolen items, look like gun. Oh, we got a new story. What's this story? It jumped into a new one. What is this? Oh, okay. That was the end of it. That was the end of it. Man, I see why my boy didn't want to work in that motherfucker. Fuck that place, y'all. That is a fucked up place to work. And he got a house where I guess it used to be his house in Shakopee. Or, yeah, I think it's Shakopee. I don't know what this is about. Billionaire cancels some plans. Okay. Kamara, the vice president came, this motherfucker? Oh, nah, she didn't come here. She invited some motherfucker there. Oh, survivors of 35W bridge collapse offers support to the bridge people there. I knew they was going to tie this bridge here. I think my son is going to be off. And I think we're going to go over to the mound during the eclipse.
And I'm gonna make some sounds. Again, yeah. How wet is it gonna be over there? Because it's all. So I guess we're gonna consider that too. Will we even be able to be over there? Well, luckily, no debauchery. So, oh, okay. Maybe there is. Is this today? 4 hours ago. Yeah, they're saying some bullshit. Okay. See if we can find any debauchery, local debauchery. Again, to win the lottery is not try to win it all. You just want you a little bit. You just want to taste. What he said in The Godfather? I just want to taste. Just let me wet my beak. Isn't that what he said to Robert De Niro? He said, just let me wet my beak. He just wanted to wet his beak, baby. That's all. He just wanted to get his beak wet, which was reasonable to me. Any reasonable person, you know. If you were doing protection in the neighborhood and new people came in, you'd still want to wet your beak. I understand that. Yeah. Oh, it's so easy to steal people's minds. I mean, it really is. People will give you your mind in a minute. And I like to me, like if you really like look at how and like you could say a different time and a different place, but like if you look at like the movie called The Mac, you really see how one person can brainwash, you know, a certain amount of people. Now, if you believe in Jim Jones and all that shit, and we know Jim Jones was in the CIA. So if you just think he went down to Guatemala and what he did, they you know, he's working with the government. So, I mean, very rarely do you see a rogue government person. But it just shows you, you know, it just shows you the charisma of one person. I mean, you know, Hitler, the charisma of everybody. When he played such a role. And what's interesting about Hitler, if you study him, they probably killed him. They probably killed one of them when they blew his ass up in Prussia, actually, the woods, Bavaria. Man, no, I think it was Prussia. The wolf, whatever they called it for, they killed one of them. Because you compare, you do a thorough investigation, you can see a different person is after that. Then they try to say, see, that's him because he has an affliction. And then you see the very last picture of some old man, they done put their uniform on. It's obviously not him. Like you find the very last picture where he's shaking little boys' hands. That's obviously not him. And that's what, you know, we watched the movie Valkyrie, why they was so quick to say they got to find a voice to sound like him. If you learned anything about that Valkyrie show, that's what it tells you. That they was quick to stay in power. They had to have a fake one. I was watching some martial arts movie or some Central Asia movie, and it was like where they switched the kings, the lords. They switched the lords. A dude became a double. And Robert Hyland has a story like that, where you know they're going to this dude has the ability to shapeshift, and he's an actor, and in his acting, shape shifting is accepted. So they come to him. The president of Mars has just got killed, but the majority of people don't know this. Now the problem with it is, yes, he can shapeshift into anything, but Mars people, amongst all the kind of people, make him sick. He's never able to be around Mars people. For some reason, Mars people made him sick of all the ways he could shapeshift. So yet he takes in the role of the shapeshifter, and he becomes the president of Mars. And they kind of they slightly, you know, hypnotize him so he can accept being around these motherfuckers. And then he becomes, you know, the president of Emperor shit of Mars. And I mean, people look more alike than what you think. Now, just as I've told you, and I, you know, and if you go there, you'll find out this to be true. the ugliest people in America live in Wisconsin. At least Eurasian wise, it's beautiful brothers and sisters, but you other folks, you pretty ugly. Maybe mostly Scandinavians, a lot, wherever they came from. And this is from years of reffing little girl and little boys basketball. I would see ugly parents bringing ugly children to the gym like repeatedly. So you got two teams, you got 10 players each, which is two parents. So these 20 parents, all ugly. But it's two teams, so it's 40 people, all ugly people. And my beautifulness in the middle of them. And so I'm a good judge of ugly. And I would just look. I would look, they would send, the teams would send their 5 out there, and I would try to see is like a little handsomeness in any of the children. And no, all the children were ugly. Then I'd look on the bench and there's 5, 6 more ugly children. So that's my expertise on judging. And I did it year after year. So it's not like I just went there one day and saw the same scenario of ugly people and just came back. Well, it must be no, this is year after year, day after day of seeing a lot of ugly people in Wisconsin. And I'll say, like I was saying here, when they show pictures of people here, the ugly people here usually come from Wisconsin. So keep that in mind. Oh, definitely with the Diddy thing. Why we give a fuck about that nigga? I mean, really, what's news? Like, really, what is news to you? Like what current event do you really need to be caught up with? I mean, we seeing replays after replays, and it's like, some shit you really gotta dumb yourself down. You really do. You have to dumb yourself down. You talk I'm sure many of you that listen to me, you definitely had to be around people where sometimes you just got to dumb yourself down and be on their level. And I'll say this, like when I get into talking about Satarian people, again, when people get into the Anunnaki, I have to put myself in that state of mind so I can really hear them. Because, in my learning and my knowing, I've learned that I have to listen to them. So I have to put myself in a place where I can hear them. Because that's why they come to me. And but some other thing, with people to come with, but looking at this information, I still want to understand them. And I want to feel what, why they feel the way they feel. Because of all of it, it has some value. Some. I'm not saying I agree, but there's value to it. So, like they say, is every truth, there's a little bit of lies, and every lie, there's a little bit of truth. And so that's what it comes down to. And it's how you discern it. How it applies to you. It's how you discern it. What the fuck time is it? Okay. So it's how you discern things and where your discernment comes from. Man, I remember I was just thinking about my brother, man. My brother would go in and like his peak years when he was killing them, I mean, he would do 4 or 5 days. Like, his 5 days, he would do 16 every day. So what is that? His normal work was it 4 to 11, 4 to 12? Yeah, his normal day would be 4 to 12. And then he would turn around and work 12 to 8 or 8:30. Then go back and do it the next day. Man. But he was killing it in the money. No doubt. Shit, he was knocking down 80, 90 when the average nigga was making 20, 30. So he was doing it. Supplier parts. I think they made the chemical for steel belting tires. So they put the chemical again. When it comes to, business, you can't do everything. So even the people that make the tires, they have to get somebody else to chemically put the chemicals together. Because the tire people can't just take all the process. So they have, suppliers. And I think that's what they did. And it just makes me think, he loved working. Like now, even when I think he works days now. So definitely love to him, whatever he's up to. He can always, come to me no matter what. And that's my children, even the ones I have to be a little stern to. And it's funny about attitudes, about that people have with each other. And it's funny how people will really, like grown ass old people will hold, what is the word I'm looking for? Like they'll be mad about shit forever. And then you start looking at people, and you say, well, what does evil look like? Because you see some people that's evil. They do evil. And they did evil to people that have nothing to do with them. It's like they did evil to people that they didn't even give these people a chance. But yet their will and their intention, even though it's all aimed at me, my children, and it's not that they suffered, but it's like your attitude towards them is all based on me. And that's unfair. It's like me saying, my children, my children have children, and because I'm mad at my children, I'm mad at the grandchildren. How does that work? How do you select only a few? I don't see, and that's where you look at intentions and evilness and wickedness, and that's how you single it out. Because how can you show lack of compassion, especially for blood? And the only thing passed was words. No stealing, no stealing, no scamming, none of that, just words. But yet you judge them. Oh, batteries must be running out up there. When it gets to blinking, it means I got to replace the batteries. That's all. I'll get up and turn it off in a minute. And so when you look at people, and like when people, it's like, sadly, it's like one day they'll have to spiritually answer for that. They have to spiritually look and say, this is you were foul to children that didn't deserve it. And you were selective in your care. When your care, you could have cared for everyone. But yet your bitterness. So here, I'm going to turn this off, blinking behind me. Hold on. Oh, shit. This ain't on. Okay. I got to piss again, so I'm going to have to get up in a minute. But that's all right. I Baby Slaughter. Oh, yeah. Let me read this shit. Thank you for coming. I am Baby Slaughter. Baby girl Slaughter. Thank you for coming.
Got to have vision.
Okay. Where is it? Oh, here we go. All right. Papa Vol. All right. This is called, I'm going to read just a little bit of it. This is called part 2. The day of 7, the defeat and destruction of 7 McCall by the 2 boys. The first name Hananapu, the second name Zablanki. Being gods, the 2 of them saw evil in his attempt at self-magification before the heart of the sky. So the boys talked. It's no good without life, without people here on the face of the earth. Well then, let's try a shot. We could shoot him while he's at his meal. We could make him ill and put an end to his riches, his jade, his metal, his jewels, his gem, the source of his brilliance. Everyone might do as he does, but it should not come to be the fiery splendors merely a matter of metal. So be it, said the boys, and each one with a blowgun on his shoulder, the two of them together. As this Seven McCall had two sons, the first of this is Zabakana, and the second is Earthquake. And the next is Chamalat. So y'all didn't realize that Earthquake, again, is a translation, but this is an American name. Just like the name Hurricane is an American name. Let's see. Of their mother, the wife of Seven McCall. And this Yapanka, this is the one to build up the great mountains, fireplace, Hanamapu, cave by the water, Zankano, Makam, Halabis are the names of the mountains that were there at the dawn are spoken. These were the fourth of Zapakanaka in a single night. And now this is the earthquake. The mountains are moved by him. The mountains, small, great, are softened by him. The sons of Seven McCall did this just as a means of self-magification. Here I am, the sun, said Seven McCall. Here I am, the maker of the earth, said Spakana. As for me, I bring down the sky. I make avalanche of all the earth, said Earthquake. The sons of Seven McCall are alike. Like him, they got their greatness from their father, and the two boys saw evil in this. And since our mother and father could not yet be made, therefore death and disappearances were planned by the two boys. And here in the shooting of Seven McCall by the two boys, we should explain the defeat of each one of those who engaged in self-magification. This is the great tree of Seven McCall, a Nance, with all this food of Seven McCall. In order to eat of the fruit of the Nance, he goes up the tree every day. And since Himenoptu and Zablanque have seen where he feeds, they are now hiding beneath the tree of Seven McCall. They are keeping quiet here, and the two boys are just in the leaves of the tree. And when Seven McCall arrived, perching his metal, the nuisance, it was then that he was shot by Hananapu. The blowgun shot him right through his jaw, breaking his mouth. Then he went up over the tree and fell flat on the ground. Suddenly Hananapu appeared running. He set out to grab him, but actually it was the arm of Hananapu that was selected by Seven McCall. He yanked it straight back and bent it back at the shoulder. Then Seven McCall tore it right out of the socket. Even so, the boys did well. The first round was their defeat of Seven McCall. And when Seven McCall had taken the arm of Hananapu, he went home. Holding his jaw very carefully, he arrived. "We have got you there." "What has got you there?" said his wife. "What is it but those two tricksters? They shot me. They dislocated my jaw. All my teeth were just loose. Now they ache. But once what I've got is over, the fire hanging there, dangling the fire, then they can just come and get it. They're the real tricksters," said Seven McCall, then hung up his arm of Hanahapu. Meanwhile, Hanahapu and Zablake were thinking, and they were involved a grandfather, a truly white-haired grandfather and a grandmother, humble grandmother, bent over elderly people. Great White Pakal is the name of the grandfather, and Great White Kota is the name of the grandmother. The boy said to the grandmother and grandfather, "Please travel with us when we get our arm from Seven McCall. We just follow right behind you. You tell him, do forgive us. Do forgive our grandchildren who travel with us. Their mother and father are dead, and they follow along there behind us. Perhaps we should give them away, since all of us do is pull worms out of the teeth. So we'll seem like children to Seven McCall, even though we're going to give the instruction." The two boys told them. "Very well," they replied, and they approached the place where Seven McCall was. At his home, when grandmother and grandfather passed by, the two boys were romping behind them. When they passed below the Lord's house, Seven McCall was yelling his mouth off because of his teeth. And when Seven McCall saw the grandfather and grandmother traveling with them, "Where are you headed, our grandfather?" said the Lord. We're just making our living, Lordship," they replied. "Why are you working for a living? Aren't those children of you traveling with you?" "No, they're not, your Lordship. They're our grandchildren, our descendants, but it's nevertheless we take pity on them. The bit of food they get is the portion of we give them." And your Lordship replied, the grandfather, "Since the Lord is getting done by the pain in the teeth, it's only great effort that he speaks again. I implore you, please take pity on me. What sweets can you make? What poisons can you cure?" said the Lord. "We just pull the worms out of the teeth and just cure your eyes." "We just set bones, your Lordship," they replied. "Very well. Please cure my teeth." They really ache every day. It's insufferable. I can get no sleep because of them. And my eyes, they just shot me. Those two tricksters. Ever since I started, I haven't eaten because of it. Therefore, take pity on me, perhaps because my teeth are loose now. Very well, your lordship. It's worms, gnawing at the bones. It's merely a matter of putting them in replacement and taking the teeth out, sir. But perhaps it's not good for your teeth to come out, since I am, after all, a lord. My finery is my teeth, but my eyes, well then, we'll put in replacements. Ground board will be put back in, and this is the ground board. It's only white corn. Very well, yank them out. Give me some help, he replied. And when the teeth of Seb McCall came out, it was only white corn that went into the replacement for his teeth. Just a shining coating of white corn in his mouth. His face fell at once. He no longer looked like a lord. The last of his teeth came out, the jewels that stood out blew from his mouth. And when the eyes of Seb McCall was cured, he was plucked around the eyes, and the last of his metal came off. Still, he felt no pain. He just looked on while the last of his greatness left him. It was just as Hannah Hapu and Zalapi had intended. When Seb McCall died, Hannah Hapu got his arm back, and Calamat, the wife of Seb McCall, also died. Such were the loss of the riches of Seven McCall. Only the doctors got the jewels and gems that had made him arrogant. And here on the face of the earth, the genius of the grandmother, the genius of the grandfather did its work, and they took it back their arm. It was implanted, and the break got well. Just as they had wished the death of Seven McCall, so they brought it about. They had seen evil and self-magification. And after two boys went out again, they simply the world of the heart sky. And this is kind of a picture of them shooting his ass. He fucked him up. The first shot broke his jaw. It's like a hit. And the first shot broke his jaw. But that's one of the many stories that you can find in the Pape Vol about the hero twins. So it's a lot to tapping into that. I lost my place. It's a lot to tapping into that. So somebody said, it's popular on TikTok or something. Okay, but it's something that we can tap into. It's not just the stories. Remember, you saw the cartoons. Most of y'all old enough to remember Thunder Tims. What was it? Twins. Action United. What was it? Thunder Twins Action. Remember the twins used to be in the cartoons? What do you think Cain and Abel is? It's a story copied from the Pape Vol. But what do they want you to do with your brother? They don't want you to be united with your brother. They want you to be the enemy of your brother, to kill your brother so it's just you. So, okay. So that's not what we do. We work with our brother. We love our brothers. We love our family. We love our people. And we do whatever we can. And I keep saying, and if anybody that's listened to me for years, it's really I give freely. I mean, go back to my old videos a couple years ago where you can hear the sound bowls I play. That's like 8 or 9 minutes of, just free energy. If you just go back and listen to those. I mean, what do they say? Music can move and remove. Because I do give freely. And none of these, maybe my son turned some of these on, my old ones, but most of them I don't charge. Because, I play all these sounds and stuff. I'm not trying to make money off this, not these. And again, shout out to all of them because I've tried to put these vibrations out there. Now, come on, I want you to hear Richard Pryor and I want you to hear Malcolm X. To feel them. To feel, what they offered, to get a little bitty of what they offered. Dick Gregory, too. I mean, Dick Gregory was a government agent, no doubt. And that's what's interesting is even if you're a government agent, it's so much that you still have to put out there. Like right now, we're seeing a bunch of NBA players that are still, with under pension years. But you see, the NBA is letting them say so much. But I saw earlier where Bubba Smith talked about the Baltimore Colts losing. And this is an old video. But it makes you see that they killed Bubba not shortly after that. Bubba died. They killed Bubba for saying that he thought the game was fixed. And he said it was fixed. And you can see it. You can see the pattern right there. The first 2 Super Bowls, the Packers win. Third Super Bowl is Joe Namath when they're trying to set this merger. And you got the 4th and 5th Super Bowl won by the AFL. And then look at what they do when it's full merger in. They switch the Colts, who had lost to the Jets, and they beat the Cowboys by 3 off a play that shouldn't have counted. A touchdown that shouldn't have counted. But do you see how the Colts was rewarded? And look at even Don Shula that lost for the Colts. Look how he was rewarded. 2 Super Bowls and an undefeated season. And I'm pretty sure that's why they killed Bubba Smith. I saw that with Bubba. The cab driver told him what was up. No, I mean, the point Bubba brings up, if you watch the film, it points it. I mean, he brings up the point of the fix. They run a flea flicker play. You throw it to a dude, the dude throw it back to the quarterback. The play has a design for one receiver. He is your first read. So when the quarterback gets the ball back, he's supposed to look at that one guy first. He ignores him and throws the interception. Like Bubba said, they was down in scoring range 5 times, and I don't even think they got a field goal. Maybe 1 in the first half. Then they put Johnny Unitas in, he scores, the 1 touchdown they get. Or maybe he scored the 2 touchdowns because I think they lost by 3. But it was obvious that they wanted, like you even watch when Kansas City beats the Vikings. The play that lost the game was that Otis Taylor, the DB misses the one-on-one tackle. He comes up to make the tackle, and he don't make the tackle, and there ain't nobody else over there. I mean, the offense was just like the receivers over there by himself. So if I was a coach, I call that play too. But it looked good, easy to set up. Make it look like he just missed a tackle. So it's always been fixed. All of them. From the Packers winning, it was interesting is the Packers in some ways saved the NFL. Like that's one reason, one reason we see of a sports financial stability is based on 1 or 2 dominant teams. If we go back to Major League Baseball and you see what kept it alive in the 20s to compete with college football, it's really college football. College football was king back then. Dynasty, the Yankees dynasty. Because if you look at baseball up to that point, it really wasn't a dynasty like that. But when you get into the Yankees, I think they won 6 straight years. And from then on, the same thing with Boston. It seems like that's the one thing that kept the glue of pro basketball together, that Boston would win every year. Again, very racist, small, northern town. But within who controlled basketball? The Jewish faith people have always controlled it. And one thing that they did, I'm one of the sole people that come out and tell you how big semi-pro sports used to be. Like if anybody remembers the Goodrich commercial a couple years ago, that's a prime example. How sometimes you worked at somewhere, like think about it like this. Like some people go into the military and all they do is play sports, or you go into the military and all you do is play instruments. Well, there were some instances where you would work for these places and play football. In some instances, you work for these places and play basketball. I mean, very common, which still goes on today. There's a lot of people that work for places and play softball. It's very common for softball to be sponsored. And again, these are all semi-pro sports. See, they're brainwashing you to telling you that semi-pro means, no, semi-pro is if you got to play for the facility and you got to pay for the refs, that's semi-pro, period. Period, point blank. Ain't that how they say it? Isn't that the spell? Period, point blank. Laughing at niggas when they say that shit. That's why I just said period and stopped. But really, that's what it is. But they don't want you, they had to kill all these minor leagues. So everybody just concentrates on theirs. So that's why you see Isaiah Thomas come in to kill the CBA. And what did they end up doing? They killed the CBA, then they came up with the NBA's version of the G League. And now you're starting to see all these leagues coming back. And the only problem with that is the push of the Europeans it seems like they setting up these minor league teams for mostly American melanated people. Now again, American melanated people still have the opportunity to play in Europe. Still have, Eurasia. You still can go play in somewhere Eurasia. Still can go play, in Central Asia. People don't play in Germany because of the war. So, gosh, I don't know what time is it. I don't really got nothing to do tomorrow, but I gotta pee. But I've been on here for 3 hours. That's probably enough. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and watch me for 3 hours. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. As much as I'd like to drink another beer, I think I'm gonna call it. And thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on a day I didn't think I was gonna come. No promises tomorrow or today. Yeah, it's basketball. It's basketball tonight. So yeah, I'm coming on tonight to talk about basketball. So we'll go over the games that had, and yeah, there'll be basketball. Oh, that's right. You can get one of those V engines put in a Escalade now. Damn, I bet that'd be fun. You still have to pay attention to fucking cornering, though. And my final words is, I bring up a lot of things because we are, like, a lot of people are mentally weak. And that's just the reality. Like, if you look around, most people are mentally weak. Now, what we face and what we see is, like, people you work with, they're strong, can be strong at what they do. That's we see that all the time. People we work with, whatever their job is, whatever their position is, they're pretty strong at what they do. And we have to find a way to just be strong at what we do. That's the way to counter that. Know your shit. Be serious. Be an adult. And that's the biggest problem is people get immature. Now, of course, force faces force, but a lot of times things don't even mean to go that way. I mean, we have a society that words mean so much again. Like, we have a society that really has turned into knock the stick off my shoulder, and that means we fight. Or cross the line, and then we'll fight. I mean, how did we get back to that? Because that's what the words tend to be, and the disrespect and killing people off words. Like, I've watched so many people get killed off so many petty things that it just, when I say all the laughter dies in sorrow, that's it just makes no sense. Like when the 80s, when I would see people get killed, I mean, these niggas had some bread. And they had did some gangster things. And, sometimes when you do some gangster things, your ass get killed in the gangster way because niggas forget they gangsters. I mean, that's what people don't understand. And it's like not only you're a gangster, you're a fucking criminal at the same time. And niggas forget that. Like niggas be all in, but forget that's all the time. Once you go that route, that's all the time. It ain't part-time. Like, if you rob a motherfucker, that's forever. If you rob a motherfucker, you don't kill him, that's something you got to always live with. So you never can just, once you live that kind of life, you never just rest. Especially you in that area. Now, you moving around and doing shit and jacking niggas, but if you in that area, the mentality you got to always be on. And so many people now, it just seems like they get upset. Like they got all that going on, and then niggas say something, It's like you got all this going on of potential threats and just being your power, but yet a nigga say something, and that's the final thing. like the murders in Chicago just makes you wonder. These people talk to each other, text each other, Instagram, but yet when they go around, they're supposed to be playing, Dodge City. Make that make sense. Like, really make that make sense. I mean, I saw a young lady walking in Chicago. Dude stopped, and it's like, what did you think this woman really had? They robbed her with, AR took whatever little bit she had. Like, what little, And then again, when they stopped, if she'd just pulled out her own shit and just sprayed the car, would she been wrong? Because again, you got to always be self-aware. You see a car pulling up, you got that bag, that thing is inside that bag. You just make them think twice. I'm going to tell you an interesting feeling is like, motherfuckers see you come around and you got your guns out and they ain't got their guns out. That's a very interesting feeling. When you got your guns out and they ain't got their guns out. And that's a lot of power. It's a power in the acting. It's a power in just getting away. Because sometimes it's cool just to get away. Like, hey, I could kill you right now. I've said before, it was a guy I could have killed twice. I had two instances where I really could have killed him. So, if you say, does he owe me his life? Probably in the way, because 2 times I could have killed him. And I could have probably, I'm going to tell you what, both times I would have beat it. I know how to beat it in my apartment. And I definitely would have beat it in the parking lot. If I'd have killed him in the parking lot, I'd have beat it. I'd have beat both of them. Been easier to kill him in my house. That'd been just, no brainer. Blow his brains out of my house trying to rob me. What's anybody going to say? My wife was going to back me. I mean, it's very odd that I would just shoot the guy's brains out, right? Yeah, well, it didn't come to that, y'all. And I'm glad I didn't have to. But sometimes you just never know. And people just don't never know. And so, I don't say things for any bad blood. I have no bad blood with anyone. I mean, we all have to move on. That's it. We just move on, do our own thing. We ain't got to talk about nobody else. We ain't gonna be upset about nobody else. Agreed, shit, believe me. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's like, what did he say? They didn't think you were very serious. They didn't think you were very serious. Well, that's what it boils down to. You have to show people how serious you are. And that's anything you do. Just show people whatever you do that you're serious about it. You're serious about what you do for a living. You're serious about the way you handle yourself as a person. I mean, we all have our own thing, We all want to wash our cars as often as we can. We want to have the cleanest car all the time. And be dressed the nicest. So it all, it's always a presentation we want to put out there. Because there's one reality, like the way you treat your objects treat you back. And that's the same way on a car. Everything from the car, I've said many, many times, it comes from this planet. So you can make it react. I mean, that's the part of machines that didn't even have to, the machine didn't even have to think to feel like that. See, they didn't need to put a robot in the machine for the machine to work with us. It was already in the machine to work with us because the machine comes from Earth just like we come from. So they didn't have to put that brain in there to make that machine think. Before they put that brain in, then the machine just operated with us. For all these computers in there. And you can't, like maybe a lot of y'all don't remember when you like, hey, don't break down right now. I need you to go a couple more miles. Or don't run out of gas. We're going to the gas station. I remember one time I had the OJ Bronco, and I ran out right at the gas station. I rode into the gas station. It got me there. So cars, there's always been a relationship between the machines and us. A man in Pomatic, what he said, like he was working on an assembly line, and what he said is, you watched him, and he was so efficient. He was so efficient with the machine, you didn't know where the machine started and the man ended. You didn't know where the man started, and they were so in tune to each other. Him working in a supplier parts place, where he was so in tune to the machine when he would work at the machine. And I ran into that. It was a job, man. Let me tell you, this shit, what the fuck did we make? Man, this shit was hard. And this shit you could get burned hands, burned wrists. You wore fireproof gloves. But it was some kind of, I don't know, because one process was painting these motherfuckers. The other process, these 4 little parts came out. So it was 4 people working together. And it was like, there was a group that worked at night watching them do this shit. It was like, because the day shift people always couldn't be efficient because it was always new people. But them motherfuckers that work second shift, man, they love doing that shit. And I used to watch the 4 of them do that shit, and they they were so efficient with it. Like, to them, they loved it. So that happens with us. We get to working with these machines, and the machines become in tune with us. And again, you know, the working with the machine kind of changes. Because, you know, what is working on, you know, like Lucy in the conveyor belt, you know, trying to eat all the chocolates. That's what we got now. You know, we got the Lucy kind of going with the conveyor belt chocolate. So, you know, that was showing where there was no feeling with the machine. But those of you that are lucky enough, and I've seen there's one young lady that's, I know she works still at Nip and Denso. So it's still people that work on the machine. So that's how efficient you can be when you work with them. That's why, you know, when I used to work CMM, that was the graviest of all gravies. Just running a CMM program. Like, these motherfuckers run these parts, and all I had to do is they had so many parts I had to run that was left for me. So I just get into the program, qualify the machine, and the machine would do it. I just put the shit in, and the machine would, I just sitting there. I'm watching other shit. I'm on eBay and I'm doing other shit until the machine stop. Then that machine stop, I put another part on, start it all over again, the same thing. Then the engineers come in and get the motherfucking reports. That job was easy. That job was easy. Oh my goodness, I do not like flying. I just don't. That shit, man. I don't feel bad as I feel in the MRI. I can't do them MRIs anymore. I just can't be constrained with this much above my head anymore. That's like torture. That is some hard shit now. I'm an old pimp. I don't want to be anything like that. It's too much like being in a casket. When it's my time, I ain't gonna be scared. But when I'm breathing and I'm in a casket, I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it, y'all. When I'm breathing, when I'm in the casket, I don't appreciate that shit. Man, it's cold as a motherfucker outside. Oh, okay. I'm not hip to these. Y'all, let me see. Let them come in. Y'all like these motherfuckers here? These are called the Air Jordan release February. What are these called? The Air Jordan Vivid Sulfur. So this isn't gold, it's sulfur. Okay. I don't like the 4s. I don't like the 3s, but I might get those 1-3s next month. I had stone clunkers back in the day, man and machine. There you go. There you go. Yeah. And you get the, man, I had a car. Like, I really had to make some moves. And I had a car, and nigga just gave me the car. One of my guys just gave me the car. And that little car, like, when I would go like little hills, it would kind of die. But I drove that little car back and forth. I would do games, because I would do games in Detroit. And from Battle Creek, Detroit, I've said again, it's roughly, you know, depending on how fast the car is. That little car, that little clunker, I could go 60. It would take me like an hour and a half probably in that little car. But I was able to make it several times. Now, I bought a car off a crackhead one time. I think I gave him $150. Man, I worked a job. Like, I had to go training for the CMM. And I made a killing too, because they paid me mileage. They paid for everything. They paid me mileage. They paid for my food. And I remember when I turned in receipts, they gave me like almost $700-800 back. And I didn't really spend that much money. I mean, just the way you can get receipts, man, I was giving the receipts, getting $700-800 back. Because that little car was getting such good gas. such good gas. And I was keeping other receipts, but that car was getting such good gas. And the only thing was with it was the windshield wiper. It just needed a windshield wiper motor. And yeah. So yeah, I've had my I bought a car for $50 to move one time. It only lasted me so many trips. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna get these. Oh, these are women's anyway. So these coming out for women. These ain't gonna be men's shoes. These are just women anyway. So your girls like it. I don't know if my daughter would like that. I gotta buy her some track shoes is what she wants. Oh, I gotta get there. Macho Man. The best sneakers released in April. I like it. Oh, this is the one Harding had on today, I bet. I found the one Harding's had on today. Okay, April sneakers that are coming out. Harding had these on today. I like these. Yeah, these are tough. Damn, I might have to get these. I like these. This is what he had on today. That's what he had. I swear, made me. I had a car. I swear it was made on a Friday. Well, that's funny. That goes into this is I know GM people, and that like what it was you didn't want to buy a car on Friday because dudes was hungover and didn't give a fuck. You didn't want to buy a car on Monday. No, you didn't want to buy a car on Friday because dudes waiting to get off for 2 weeks, so they really wasn't paying attention. And you didn't want to get a car on Monday because they coming back start the week. So yeah. Yep. But yeah, them Hardings, I might get these. I like these. This is what he hooped in tonight. I couldn't tell that other color. Ran Monday through Thursday. Weekend was fine. So yeah, I think I might get these. 160. We'll see. I don't know. Fear of God. Yeah. Well, who the fuck would want these? Yeah. I don't want those. Ants. Is this peach, Georgia red? Yeah, these are ugly. I wouldn't want those. Maybe these. Yeah, maybe. I kind of like these because these really they really fold to your upper toe too. So I kind of like these. The Superstars, Core Black. Oh, these all Adidas. Yeah, pass. Flamingo, Flamingo Hardings. Really? Nah, I don't know. I still think these maybe. Those are maybe. I don't know. He hooped in them tonight. I kind of like them. Looking for that good stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Jumpman 2 Tray. Dune and Willy Wonka signs Warner Brother deal. What's Willy Wonka signed in? Damn, Willy Wonka, what you did? Okay, let's see what Willy Wonka. They paying Willy Wonka. Let's see. They got always telling about people bread. Well, what they say about Willy Wonka and King Henry VIII. Says success of Dune Part 2 has signed a deal with Timothy Chalamet to produce and star in more movies for the studio. Wonka and Dune were back-to-back blockbusters. Wonka earned $632 million. Part 2 earned $500. Damn, Willy Wonka beat Dune 2. According to the studio, became the first act in 4 decades to top 2 domestic films that released 8 months. Reportedly earned $8 million to star in Wonka. Assassin Pilot, he made $10 million, so he made $18 million last year. Is officially an A-list star who commands an A-list salary. He's an A-lister, so he ain't coming over anymore to smoke blunts. Damn. Star power rose after acclaimed performances in Interstellar, Call Me By My Name, The King and the Little Woman. In addition to his success, the 28-year-old and French producer has become actor Gen Z, fashion icon. Fashion admired only commissions, blah, blah, blah. What's the deal? Okay, they're not telling the deal. So he's just doing more movies. That was George Floyd was doing movies until George Floyd was being chased down the street with it by his woman. George Floyd didn't know how to pick him. But his thing was probably act too. Because it all seems to be acts. Looking for that good stuff. Doom, 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 doom. Well, I am getting a little tired and fatigued. Oh, I got pills in here. And I drank all my beer. Bummer. Well, I think I'm going to call it 3 hours, me babbling. Thank you. If you caught any of it, I appreciate it. And that's being in, being in the moment. I do appreciate anybody that ever comes. And I like that, it's enough people that always come that watch it that, you can think that and feel that, it's a relationship there. Because again, the energy goes both ways. And so I think that's all somebody can ask for is flow the energy both ways. That's all. Oh, and I got to hook up the Discord. I'm sorry I didn't go on it. I'm sorry I didn't even go on a Discord. So we got to turn that on to it's on. So if you got questions, tomorrow, well, I'm gonna be watching games tomorrow. Well, especially at 6. Maybe before the games come on, I might, cause one, what is her name? I get mixed up with the names. The Awakened one. Okay. So she wants to practice, so maybe we'll get to practice. And I'm gonna say this. Like every generation has had to deal with what they had to deal with from the time you was born to the time, you started knowing, and especially to childhood. I mean, in a lot of ways, the world has got dumber because it seems like with automation, that's one part of automation is that the world gets dumber. The less we do, the less we got to do, the less expected of us. And there are really people that do the less. I mean, a lot of times the less gets rewarded. And you look back and he's like, how did that get rewarded? I'm out here doing so much and that less gets rewarded. And that's kind of a fucked up way things happen. But what we have to understand is everyone had their struggle the way they did it. Now, one thing about, you can say the baby boomers is the style and fashion is pretty much was set in motion. Breaking the suits, breaking the dress like Masons pretty much started with my generation in the 60s. Because part of my generation is definitely the hippie generations that said we ain't got to dress the way they say we should dress. We can wear our hair any way we want to wear our hair. I mean, part of my generation is also part of the generation that quit wearing their hair getting combed and started wearing the afros and started getting their hair braided. That's a 60s, 70s thing, is getting hair braided. Started in the late 60s. And, shit, now it's a common style. So who do you think that started with? Now, if you don't think that didn't start in the 60s and the 70s, then you better ask or look at old pictures. I mean, our women used to be happy on just having their own afro. All you had to do was just go get your hair clipped and shaped and get washed, and you didn't need to do all this, and you didn't need to make yourself go bald. I mean, I look at some of these sisters and how young they are and how they're bald. And that's why I was talking about, to put glue on a man's head and have some hair. I mean, how, and I know there's all kind of glues, but I mean, how healthy can that be for your skin? Because I know at some point you're going to be doing like that girl I was telling you that every 30 seconds, I was timing her every 30 seconds. She was popping her ass on the head because that shit, because again, she didn't want to fuck up her hair. But that shit was itching her so bad every 30 seconds. She had to just, make it quit itching. Quit itching. Quit itching. And again, I think people forget their parents struggle. And their parents aren't great. I've heard people brag about how great their parents are. What generation is your parents from? If your generation is so great, what generation is your parents from? Because it sounds like to me you had some pretty great parents. So what generation were they from? If certain generations is the one that brought all this out. When we look at clothing and shoes and stuff, I'm the generation that, I'm the same generation as Michael Jordan. He's born in 63, 64? Yeah. He's not that much younger than me. Or he might be the generation of my brother, born in 65 or 66. I think Mike is closer to me. Yeah, he's closer to me. Because Larry's only a year younger than me. So Mike's only, I think, 2 years younger than me. Maybe 3 at the most. So he's got to be at least 60. So all I'm saying is everybody together. There's no real separation. We all have done the best we could do. That's the point. And we keep trying to do it. And it seems like it's like what's respect now? Like how do people gain respect with each other? Like what is respect? Because it's like respect is not given anymore because it is true. I mean, the scamming comes from the young and old. So some people to put the narrative is just old niggas to scam, and that young niggas scam too. Young niggas scam too, so it ain't where it's just one or the other. Young niggas can scam too. So that narrative is, it's a wash. You have to just know who you deal with. I'm reading some shit. Johnny Lightning, Camaro Legends, 1968. I had this shit. This is some shit I had. I didn't have Hot Wheels. Let me show you this shit. This shit was cooler. Now, like what came out is Hot Wheels was so popular that they really didn't have any. The only competition of Hot Wheels was Matchbox. And, now Hot Wheels. But when Johnny Lightning came out, and let me see if they get into it any deeper. Let me see if they get into it deeper. But Johnny Lightnings are the first ones that came out with launchers. So Hot Wheels later came out with the tracks, which I know a lot of y'all got probably spanked with them Hot Wheel tracks. You could fuck somebody up with them. But anyway, when I was in third grade in 69, 70 for Christmas, I got a Johnny Lightning set. And it had card launchers. So Hot Wheels just had a thing. You just let the Hot Wheel go and it'd go around. Johnny Lightning had where you launched the cars and they stayed on the track and they went all zigzagging around. So you didn't really need the motor because you could just launch them and it would shoot around the track. It was a big ass track. So I don't know if y'all hip to Johnny Lightning. Yeah. What if I could look that shit up? Johnny Lightning track. Let's see. I bet that's in the search. Shit, everything's on this motherfucker. Ah, here it is. Is this the launchers? I want to see the launchers. Yeah, YouTube shows it. Let's see. Maybe this is, I just want to see the box. Yeah, this is that shit. This is that shit. This is the shit I had as a little boy right here. This is the launcher right here. See, you launch them up here. Yeah, this is exactly the set. I think the color is different though. This is probably a newer box. Well, it says 70s Topper Corp. But yeah, Johnny Lightning. And you could build all these ramps and shit. Let me see it. Oh, here we go. See? See how big you could build this shit? And the cars, you see how they had it where the cars come off this and they cross? See how creative that is? Like, look, they put these on there so the cars wouldn't shoot up in the air. You see, you launch them and they stay on the track because of these. This keeps them on there. That's smart. Now, that's good engineering. Look, this is what it looked like. This is what it looked like. You launch them here. This keeps them holding on the track. And then they crisscross, which is really, you know, if you think about it, that's creative. And not only the crisscross there, they crisscross here. And it was like, it wasn't so fast that like once you launched them, they came quickly to you. Like once you lost them, you could sit back and you saw them crisscross here and they'd go so fast and crisscross there. So yeah, I had this in third grade, 69, 70. I had this shit right here. Johnny Lightning. 1963. He's born in 63. Mike was born in 63. Yeah. So yeah, he's a baby boomer. I know Larry is. Because Mike has a sister too. It's like Larry, Mike mama was pregnant some years in a row because Larry, I think it's the sister. I think it's James Jr., it's Larry, and then it's a sister, and then Mike. But Mike and the sister, for some reason, graduated together because they're 2 years. Larry was that story where Mike tells he gets cut. Larry was on that team and was a junior. And then when Larry was a senior, Mike was a junior. Yeah. So in school, and then they had a sister that was so the sister and Mike graduated, because you look at their yearbook, because again, I grew up with so many people from North Carolina that went to school with Dominic and his brother, looking at their yearbooks. Mike and Larry, Larry went to A&T, so I looked in Larry's yearbooks. So, a lot of the old players, they grew up in that area. People knew them. So, all right. Well, that's what I got, y'all. Again, I appreciate everybody that ever watches anything I do. I appreciate it. I appreciate the energy you give back to me. So thank you. Yeah, after the games tomorrow, I'm gonna break down. Next couple of days, I'll be on every night just to break the games down and see how much I can philosophize. So thank you.